From pretty much the present, this is your host, Adam Graham, bringing you a week of old-time radio detective podcasts from 2012. Because these podcasts are many years old, any offers or information included in the podcast may not be valid unless they're currently reflected on our Great Detectives of Old Time Radio website at greatdetectives.net. Here now is a week of old-time radio detective podcast. Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net. Give me a call, 208-991-4783, and become one of our friends on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Detectives. While our listener support campaign continues, I want to thank everyone who sent in donations. I want to recognize Harold from up in Alberta, Canada, who sends in donation, and we'll be sending along access to the premium site as we do for all donations of $7 or more. And we'll also be providing access to Harold's choice of several great extras. Throughout the year, we provide access to our premium site, but during our listener support campaign, for those who give $20 or more, we give several choices. At the $20 level, we have access to your choice of several Colonial Radio Theater dramas, including Perry Mason, Gettysburg. Listen to that Gettysburg program. Very, very moving and well done. Zorro and the Pirate Raiders, or any two Twilight Zone episodes. And at the $50 level, those living in the U.S. can receive an autographed copy of Tales of the Dim Night. Also, we can provide Amazon.com gift card good for the purchase of one of several Poirot movies through instant video. And at the $100 level, we have available a great RadioArchives.com gift certificate that will allow you to get instant download of any of their great radio sets, including Let George Do It, Philip Marlowe, and many more. More information is available on all the available thank you gifts at support.greatdetectives.net. The campaign runs just through the end of next week, or through the end of this week, so March 3rd. Have your donations in. If you'd like to mail in a donation, email to me, box13 at greatdetectives.net, and I can provide you a mailing address for that purpose. All right, well, now it is time for today's episode of Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator, and this one's called Murder by Error.
William Gargan stars as Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator.
Distemper is a human failing, but don't ever try blowing the lid of your coffin. You'll only frustrate yourself.
A National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barrie Craig, Confidential Investigator.
Barrie Craig speaking. A long-legged blonde follows you to the ends of the earth. Don't always feel flattered, friend. She might only be tailing you. Such was my case on the public streets one sultry summer's evening. A doll panting after me, but keeping a discreet 50 or so yards between us. I got a look at her face without turning around. How? A gimmick standard with cops. A pocket mirror held in front of me. My pursuer was good-looking, with twin dimples in her cheeks and an aristocratic hook to her eyebrows. I let her follow me into a cocktail lounge. Inside, I watched her fidget at the far end of the mahogany bar for a couple of minutes. When the sweat began to spoil her makeup, I joined her. Hello.
Look, you're wrong
If I confuse you with a pickup, I don't.
Well, then...
Cry wolf if I'm wrong, but I get the impression we've been inseparable for hours.
Inseparable?
I left my office at 3:45. I've been east, north, south, and west, and now it's 5:15. In all that time, the shadow I threw was you. Well?
No, you're right. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but follow you.
I'm your dream man?
I meant nothing personal.
Oh, that deflates me.
If I can explain.
Do.
At 3:45 outside your office building, I didn't dare come up.
Why not?
I discovered that I myself was being followed.
Oh.
You were strongly recommended to me. As a confidential investigator, I could trust implicitly.
To whom do I owe that bouquet?
Never mind. I followed you, hoping we could eventually talk somewhere without being observed. Like this.
What makes you think we're alone with each other now?
What makes... You mean the person following me?
I do mean.
I haven't seen him for the last hour.
Shadows don't generally quit, any more than you did. Now, look around.
He's not in here.
Describe him.
Unusually small man with an enormous head, totally bald. He wore an odd candy-striped suit.
You're describing a freak.
He did look freakish, yes.
Tell me, lady, how do you, feel generally?
I'm quite sane, believe me.
Which brings us to your problem.
Well, it's more precisely my husband's problem.
Well, introduce yourself.
Vera Baxter. My husband is J.C. Baxter.
You say that like J.C. Baxter is a muckamuck.
My husband is someone substantial.
Rich, upper class, a figure in the business world?
All of those things, yes. He hasn't been himself for months. He's morose, secretive. He can't eat, he can't sleep. I believe my husband is submitting to blackmail.
Does J.C. know you're aware of his situation?
No, he doesn't know. He's always been violent on the subject of his own privacy, his own private affairs. Mr. Craig, I'm frightened for him. And for myself.
Then you want me to pinpoint what it is that has your husband in the toils?
Yes, watch him. Follow him if need be. See who the persons are who telephone and molest him
And?
If humanly possible, help my husband out of his predicament.
Don't you maybe mean if morally possible? A fellow yielding to blackmail, he's generally a little dirty himself. I played tail on the monkey to J.C. Baxter for 36 hours, on foot and by automobile. J.C. leading the parade in an expensive custom job hardtop. And me rattling behind him in a jalopy no self-respecting junkie would even buy for salvage. I knew the trip wasn't just a waste of gas by the route J.C. was taking. All back roads and the fringe areas where the city began to look like the Sahara Desert. I watched him slow up, crossing a small bridge. I could guess what J.C. was up to on the bridge even before I saw the parcel go sailing over the bridge rail. I let him speed off before I stopped. A familiar payoff pattern. Money thrown into a specified area. A blackmailer wanted dough, but didn't want to be identified taking it. I went to see how much was in the parcel. From the weight to the parcel, there was plenty. Plenty was an understatement. I only needed to look to estimate the payoff at $10,000. No bill bigger than a 20. I restored the parcel. The anonymous caller would find it in the bushes below the bridge. He'd find the dough, and he'd also find me. The moon was out, and the cricket serenade was going full key when somebody came looking for the money. Little guy, not too much taller than the reeds, and a big round head to him, the size of a circus balloon. When he finally found the parcel, I found him flush on the jaw. He came to with his balloon head noticeably deflated. He had a complaint.
Oh, I'm bleeding from the ear.
And I'm bleeding from the heart.
Hey, what'd you want to go and hit me for?
I get uncontrollable fits of violence.
What? Hey, who are you?
A cop. Your name?
Lou.
Lou what?
Too hard to pronounce.
Make a try at it.
Zyma Particus.
No, we'll settle for Lou.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Now, tell me why J.C. Baxter thinks your silence is worth $10,000 to him.
Why, J.C. who is what?
The $10,000 you had your fat little hands on. In this parcel. Why do you rate it?
Let me take this slow, huh? You're telling me there's $10,000 real money in that bundle?
I am.
And that it's coming to me?
You had possession of it when I conked you.
Well, sure, I had it all right. There's no doubt as to that. Only I thought it was just some old paper.
Work up an act, you'll only promote yourself into bleeding all over.
Mister, let me tell you, I only came down here looking for old newspaper.
What for?
For the frogs. So I could make a bundle when I catch 'em.
Catch frogs?
See over there by the pond?
So?
Frogs. When the moon is full like now, there's millions of frogs. Here, see this flashlight I got on me?
What about it?
Well, I sneak over to the bank there, and I shine the flashlight right in their eye. It hypnotizes the frogs. All I have to do is pick 'em up and wrap 'em.
Now, what do you want with frogs?
The Valencia Laboratory over on Mercer Boulevard. You know, the medical students? I get a quarter for every frog.
That's your story.
Yeah, so you see, you got a case of mistaken indemnity. You don't want Lou's,
Particus.
Thanks. My own name had me.
Yeah, we can fix that.
How's that?
Shorten it. Shorten it to a number. Let's go.
Irregardless, I'm pinched, huh?
Irregardless. Come on. The frogs won't miss you. Riding back to town with my frogman in custody, my jalopy began to shake as if age and abuse had finally gotten her.
Hey, the heat shimmying from side to side.
Yeah. The wheels are wobbling front and rear, like,
Old age.
like all the bolts have worked loose.
Hey, come on, stop before we turn over. You said arrest me. You didn't say kill me.
Bolts had come loose, all right.
Any minute you'd have lost 4 wheels.
Yeah, but not from natural causes, Buster.
Not?
Human hands did this, while I was down in the reeds pollywogging with you.
Or, hey, why would somebody
The
want...
answer to that's in the car now approaching. You want to bet? The guy behind the wheel with a big beak pushing through a handkerchief he wore as a mask. The play was his. Who wanted to argue with a gun?
Hey, you there, Shorty.
Me?
Yeah, you. Climb into my boat.
Me switch cars?
You're rescued. By the boss, is it?
You talking one ear comes out the other. Right now I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. You only know from frogs, liar.
So long now.
Now you, big stuff.
That presumably is me.
Give me your lip, I'll plug you.
I'm speechless.
All right, hand over the parcel.
Parcel? Oh, yeah, the parcel. Here.
Toss it the back window.
Okay, you've got it.
The contents are intact?
Check with your stew.
I'm asking you.
I held out a dime. You want it?
No, you keep it as a tip. That incline over there, you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Well, start climbing it.
What for?
Exercise. Be glad I'm leaving you in shape to climb.
Watch me go. He watched me go, and then I watched him go. No rear license plate I could read. He had black tape over it. I was up against pretty resourceful competition. That much was very plain. When I finally escaped from my country exile, I organized a progress chat with my client, Mrs. Vera Baxter, in an apple orchard. They lived like that, the Lucky Baxters. A big house and an apple orchard where the goldfish pond left off.
Then it's true. My husband is being blackmailed.
He's dancing to a handsome tune. 10,000 so far, I can vouch for him.
It's my nightmare realized.
The leg man in the situation is a midget with a watermelon for a dome.
The man I saw following me.
The same, undoubtedly. The gent ordering him around is self-conscious about his kisser. Covers it up with a handkerchief. But I caught one facial detail. His nose. It's a pelican beak. That mean anything?
No, nothing. I've never seen anyone my husband's in negotiation with. Just what I told you.
Just letters, whispering telephone calls, and mysterious conferences in the garage.
Yes, that's right.
Mrs. Baxter.
Yes, Mr. Craig?
I'm stymied. I've only got one next approach.
What?
Your husband, J.C. himself. Grab the dog by the tail. I've got to talk directly at him.
Oh, no, please.
Oh, without involving you. He won't know you brought me into it.
What will you say?
One artful dodge or another. I've got a lot of experience at being non-committal. Well?
All right, if you think you must. I have to get back to the house now.
I'll wait 10 minutes and then ring the doorbell. J.C. looked as morose as a guy could get and still want to live. Face tight, every muscle in place. Very close to the screaming Mimi.
I find your visit a little fantastic, Mr. Craig.
In my business, the fantastic is everyday stuff.
But to single me out, why?
How is what you really want to ask. How I found my way to you. I'll only tell you what I have so far. Let your imagination fill in the rest. You're paying hush money. You threw 10,000 over the rail at Ramapo Bridge. Now, confide in me.
I'll mind my own business, and I'll thank you to mind yours.
For your own sake, Baxter, any rap is worth facing up to, when the alternative is giving in to blackmail. Blackmailers keep coming back again and again. You won't have a dime left or a shred of self-respect. My advice is, open up and get done with it.
I dared what you suggest. I wouldn't have a shred of reputation.
You lick your wounds, take your lumps, and start all over again. Life's a long time. You can fall down and get up. Now, who's blackmailing you and why?
I have nothing to say to you.
Okay, then. I'll go. I'm in a puzzle to stay, Baxter. I can be delayed, but I can't be stopped. I'll be back with the answers one day. Bet on it, Baxter.
Oh, wait.
Now, you're smart to get it off your chest.
This is in strict confidence.
Sorry. I can't make blind promises.
I was abroad 3 months ago. I became involved with a young lady tourist. Oh, platonically, mind you. Nothing compromising. We were only companions.
Go on.
There were talks. I was lonely. There were dinners and walks on the promenade. Visits to museums, the tulip fields in Amsterdam. Just a harmless diversion.
But the young lady tourist made more of it, huh?
She distorted our situation. I've been receiving letters here at home, demands for heart balm, redress. Her broken heart. I'd misrepresented my status. I'd not told her I was already married.
No foundation to any of her claims?
All lies, a blatant fakery. I was only an escort, a friend.
Why are you paying blackmail?
To prevent scandal, to forestall any needless hurt to Vera, my wife.
You feel that vulnerable to pay tribute to a lie?
My social and business situation is sensitive. My colleagues, all of them, blue noses, very provincial. For the merest breath of notoriety. And also, my wife is a woman of certain delicacy of spirit. A perverse sense of pride and propriety. I could never make her understand. Vera would turn against me. You see my trap.
I see it all right, only I'm not so sure I believe it.
You don't believe me?
A man your size in the world, Baxter, top dog, a high social level, a howling business success. You don't figure to be stupid enough to yield to a blackmail built on a tissue of lies. No, I don't think I believe you.
That's very arbitrary of you.
Whatever's got you playing obliging sucker is motivated by something a lot more potent than an old-fashioned badger game. Now, this girl, what's her name?
I'll not disclose that to you.
And you won't either disclose what she's really got on you. She and company, that is.
I've already told you all there is to tell.
You fed me a line of bunk.
I'm sure you can find your way out.
Yeah, out and right back in. Watch for me. I'll be back to tell you some of the things you've left unsaid. Goodbye now. In due time, I got to identify Baxter's young lady tourist. It wasn't too tough. I accomplished same at the customs desk of the international airport. The passenger list of the plane Baxter had returned from abroad in 3 months before. Only one of the passengers qualified for the description of young lady tourist. Paula Wiley, age 23, residence Manhattan, New York, 216 Marlborough Heights. I found Paula at home and about to decamp, dressed to go out, and 2 suitcases at the door.
Who did you say you were?
Barrie Craig, my credentials.
Police?
Private investigator. I bring you greetings from J.C. Baxter. Oh, you're not going to deny knowing J.C.
How is Mr. Baxter?
Oh, he's got an ulcer growing in all directions. Where were you going?
Away. The Adirondacks. I have a summer job.
Nice ad lib.
I suppose I should resent your talking.
Oh, but you can't. Guilt's all over you like prickly sores. I'll give you a choice.
Choice?
Talk to me here, or let's do it at the Tombs. The chairs are more comfortable here.
What am I being accused of?
Blackmailing J.C. Baxter.
He complained to you?
How else would I be here?
Why, the dirty, underhanded...
Now, try to live up to your ladylike looks.
What did Baxter tell you?
All kinds of things.
It's still inconceivable to me that he'd dare.
Dare send me after you?
Yes. You did say he engaged you.
Well, call him up and ask him. Confirm it. Be smart, baby. Hang Baxter with his own noose. What's Baxter trying to scare you out of?
I'm not sure you're not handing me a line. Come on.
Oh, take the gamble. You're gambling anyhow. Blackmail has its risks.
I take you on good faith. You won't get rich.
I'm resigned to being poor.
Baxter. I was with him in Amsterdam, Holland, the Diamond Center. We were picnicking and taking color pictures of the tulip fields. But Baxter was there for another purpose.
Buying up diamonds.
Industrial diamonds. He didn't know that I knew what he was doing.
You looked beautiful and dumb.
You can guess the rest.
Baxter never declared the diamonds at customs. He smuggled them into the United States.
Yes.
And that's the real blackmail gimmick.
Yes.
Now, the 2 gentlemen sharing your gold mine, who are they?
Why must you know that?
Well, I like to know all the company I keep.
Ben Stacy. He's a sort of boyfriend. He handled all the contacts with Baxter. I never personally appeared in the situation.
Well, where does Stacy hang his hat?
Down the block, the Baker Apartments.
And who is the little fellow with the pumpkin head?
Lou. Stacy uses Lou for odd jobs.
And other times?
Lou works in the Imperial Bowling Alley. He's a pin boy. Oh, wait a minute. Here. For you.
Money.
$500. There'll be more for you another time.
Oh, the things I could do with $500.
You're not going to refuse it.
Take it, I'd lose my license, let alone my self-respect.
Oh. Then you're a cop after all.
You're disillusioned?
No, I half expected an outcome like this. But I took the gamble. It's a funny thing.
Yes?
My heart's never been in the thing with Baxter. You see, it's my maiden debut in crime.
You're lucky.
Lucky?
Lucky to be caught first time out. It could prevent your becoming a habitual criminal. Let's go, huh? With Paula in custody, I looked up Ben Stacy at the Baker Apartments. No answer to the door buzzer. A formal entrance doesn't pan out, you try an informal one, which I did. I found Ben Stacy receiving at home. He was in. He'd just been playing possum. Dead possum, that is. On the floor, flat on his back, face up and his eyes blind. The manner of death required no guesswork. He had a hole on the side of his skull the size of a quarter, a bullet hole. There was an ornamental touch to the corpse, a square of gold glittering close by his shoe top. A gold cufflink. Not Stacy's. Stacy wasn't wearing French cuffs. The murderer's cufflink, apparently. It lay there like it had been lost in the struggle between killer and victim. It took less than 60 seconds to find the $10,000 Stacy had relieved me of on the highway. It lay on a bureau top, exposed to the casual eye. I had 2 brief calls to make, out of respect to the dead. The morgue and homicide. In the tombs, Paula wept for the dead.
I got Stacy into this. It's my fault he's dead.
You cry like he meant something to you.
I was, in a way, in love with him.
Did you maybe, in a way, kill him?
Kill? What possible reason?
Eliminate a partner. It happens, doll, among the best of thieves. You were going away when I caught you.
Get out of here. You get out of here.
In the Imperial bowling alley, the balloon-headed stooge Lou looked like he only wished he'd lived to clean up.
I can't leave here till 6 p.m., mister. They're short of pin boys.
Very sad.
So come around and see me then, huh?
So a mourning band on your sleeve, Lou.
Huh? Hey, somebody died?
Yeah. Your once-in-a-while boss.
Stacy?
Stacy.
What you want to go and tell me for?
You'd rather I hadn't?
Now I won't be able to keep my mind on the pins.
Better that way. Now you can concentrate on your troubles.
Troubles? You're fingering me for the Stacy killing?
You're a suspect, chum. Please join me.
Wait till I set up the alley. And lend a hand there on number 4, huh? Like I told you, they're short-handed today.
In a more fragrant setting, by the shade of ye old apple tree, Mrs. Vera Baxter clutched her heart.
Murder?
Murder it is. You've really got a domestic nightmare now.
Oh, no, you can't let your suspicions...
I can't exclude your husband as a suspect. He had a pretty impressive motive against Stacy.
But he's incapable. He's a gentleman.
An ungentle crook.
A crook?
Smuggler, I should have said. But the characterization of your mister doesn't really surprise you.
No. No, it doesn't surprise now. Last night in my husband's study, I pried open a drawer.
What did you find?
Diamonds. A bag full of diamonds.
Diamonds he bought in Amsterdam and smuggled across. Your husband had a little racket going for himself.
It's incredible to think that he'd stoop
to... profit? The truth out in the open, that's what you hired me for.
Yes, the truth. I don't know how to live in fear.
I now show you a gold cufflink, this one. Can you identify it? Well?
I'm not sure.
Your eyes tell me you are sure. No good trying to evade, Mrs. Baxter.
It's a link to a set I gave my husband. I had them specially designed at our jeweler's. I feel faint.
Yeah, who wouldn't feel?
What does the cufflink mean, Mr. Craig?
I can't say positively, but it could mean the chair for J.C. Baxter.
Oh, no.
While the DA's office figured out which of the 3 was eligible for electrocution, Baxter, Paula, or Lou, Mrs. Vera Baxter decided to be the best wife a husband ever had. She was in my office in the bright and early a.m.
My husband couldn't have murdered this man, Stacy.
Why not?
I believe the word is alibi.
You can alibi his time?
I can. Jay was at home with me all that day and evening.
Well, that's a sudden thought.
I was too upset to even think yesterday.
You wouldn't be telling a big lie.
I'll swear to what I say. Jay couldn't have done this murder.
Funny thing, I'm inclined to agree with you. I've been doing some clear thinking myself. You don't need to alibi him to save him. A nice try and a nice lie, but unnecessary as it happens. No, your husband couldn't have done the murder. Neither could the other pair.
Not the other pair?
Paula or Lou. You see, while the corpse lay on the floor, the $10,000 lay on the bureau, where I found it.
I don't follow your reasoning.
Neither Paula or Lou would eliminate Stacy and overlook the loot. Only the loot could be their motive to kill. Cut Stacy out, grab everything. And if your husband killed Stacy to stop blackmail, he would cart the $10,000 away. Not only to recover his money, but to provide a red herring. Make it look like a job done by Paula or Lou.
I'm glad you're exonerating my husband, but if you also eliminate the others, then who?
I boil it down to one last suspect. You.
Me?
Uh-huh. You murdering Stacy to implicate your husband. Your revenge.
What revenge would I want?
Revenge for infidelity. You all along thought your husband was paying blackmail to conceal an indiscretion. You didn't know until last night that his actual crime was smuggling. Not philandering with Paula, but smuggling. I'm afraid you played some kind of a crazy joke on yourself, lady.
I don't know what to say.
Well, don't say anything. Think for a long time. And when you're through thinking, make a simple confession, huh?
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barrie Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, Murder by Error, was written by John Robert. Next week, it's the strange story of Death's Little Helper, about which Barrie Craig has this to say.
We call next week's story Death's Little Helper. It deals with a beautiful girl and a couple of highly unbeautiful corpses, and winds up when a killer realizes that death doesn't need any help. Good night, folks. See you next week.
The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you an NBC Radio Network production, William Gargan, starring as Barrie Craig, confidential investigator, directed by Arthur Jacobson. Also heard were Gene Bates, Julie Bennett, Herb Vigran, Hal Gerard, and Herb Ellis. Eddie King speaking. Hear tonight's exciting Dragnet adventure on the NBC Radio Network.
Welcome back. Well, this was a throwback to the era where criminals were expected, or I guess this was kind of an expectation on Barrie Craig, that the criminal would confess without proof that would be very convincing to the police or to a jury, but more out of guilt and remorse about the horrible mistake that's been made. All right, well, now we turn to listener comments and feedback, and we have a voicemail. Let's go ahead and we'll take a listen to it.
Hey, Adam, this is Hutch from Chicago. I have a question for you regarding, have you ever heard of, you probably have heard of them all, Becker House Detectives. Do you know any history on it, how many there were? I don't think it's all that old, but you know, there doesn't seem to be very many of them. And if you have any more details, thanks for all your work. This is great stuff. Bye.
Well, thanks so much for the question, Hutch. In answer, the voicemail, or to the voicemail, from one of my favorite sites for finding out about detective series, just kind of getting raw sketches, is thrillingdetective.com. And the series of Becker House Detective was a CBC radio series, and it was set in 1923, and it only lasted for 13 episodes. So according to their log, from April 6th, 19 1996 to June 29th of 1996. So a fairly recent show. 13 episodes are quite a few CBC series that only lasted that long. And you'll find old-time radio and a wide variety of different radio programs have this, and some television series have their total number of episodes divisible by 13. 13, 26, and 39. This is particularly popular with the syndicated shows. That way they could easily be sold in chunks to networks. So there were 13 episodes, from best I can tell, and released in 1996. Well, thanks so much for the question. All right. Well, that will do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow with the last episode of Christopher London, and we'll be taking a listen to Poirot over old-time radio, starting next week, so be sure to be listening next Tuesday for that. We continue our listener support campaign. Encourage everyone who is able to go to support.greatdetectives.net and help out the show. And want to say thanks to Robert and David for sending a long donation, and we'll be sending their choice of extras to them. We normally, for all donations of $7 or more, we send access to our premium site. But for during the listener support campaign, which ends this Saturday, March the 3rd, we will provide a bonus gift. Bob has emailed us, and he's asked for episodes of the Twilight Zone radio series. And so every donation of $20 or more, we can send you your choice of any 2 episodes of the Twilight Zone radio series that are available through audible.com. Or your choice of several Colonial Radio theater dramas. At the $50 level, we can send you, and if you're in the U.S. or Canada, we can send you an autographed copy of Tales of the Dim Night, my book that my wife and I wrote. And there's a full list of all of the bonuses available at support.greatdetectives.net. Let me know what you want when you donate, and we will go ahead and get that to you. Well, this is the last episode we have of Christopher London, and the second to last episode of the series. This one is from May 29th, 1950, so some time has passed since the previous episode. And the reason for the series end was that Glenn Ford's movie career was taking off. And, with radio in decline and a movie career out there for him, it made sense to focus on movies. So the show would end after 19 weeks the very next week. Fortunately, we don't have any of the titles between last week's show and this one. This episode is from May 29th, 1950, and this one is called The System, A Code for Murder.
In New York, a famous composer sips his brandy and dies, and a lovely lady vanishes. On the French Riviera, a childish tune is played again and again behind a locked door. Jagged pieces of a horrible puzzle fitted together into a pattern of murder by Christopher London.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Christopher London, created especially for radio by the world's most widely read mystery writer, Earl Stanley Gardner. Transcribed, produced, and directed by William N. Robeson. And starring Mr. Glenn Ford.
I am Christopher London, who can't even take a little walk in the moonlight with a beautiful woman without finding a dead body in his path. Everyone else seems to be able to do the average sort of thing. Go to a show or a concert without the man in the next seat winding up with a stiletto in his back, but not me, no. Like that night I went to Carnegie Hall to hear the new piano concerto by my old friend Louis Deschaise. Louis was the kind of man you seldom come across anymore. Vital despite 60-odd years, with an eye for the ladies, 20 cigars a day, evenings of brandy, roulette, and romance. Well, after the concert, he slipped away with me to a small bar around the corner from Carnegie Hall where we could chat quietly.
Oh, Christopher, how I detest to listen to my own music. Oh, nerve-wracking. It will be good to get away, to relax. No music, no work.
Where are you going?
Wandelka. She has written me to spend a holiday at her chateau in Monte Carlo.
Wandelka, the pianist?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great artist. I've heard her play.
Oh, one of the most remarkable women of our time. Even now, at 60, she can captivate the heart of men half her age. The vitality, the allure. I fell in love with her twice in my life. Once at 16 and again at 40. I even wanted to marry her. Me, Louis Duchesne, willing to marry. But I couldn't afford her.
Extravagant?
Oh, that is an understatement. Wandelka, she lives to the hilt. Compared to her, I'm middle class. Oh, how that woman lives. The fortune she's lost at roulette, the racing car she has bought, the chateau she's lived in.
Oh, she sounds wonderful.
At 60, she is not only a great pianist, linguist, mathematician, poet.
You know, you sound as though you're still in love with her. It's too bad you couldn't afford her.
Oh, need I tell you how little a composer like me earns? Few concerts, the sale of records. That is all. Oh, for a man with my taste, it has been hard. But now, all will be changed. Christopher, when I return, I shall be a wealthy man.
Oh, how are you going to manage that?
I cannot tell you, Christopher.
I beg your pardon.
Huh?
Is this seat taken?
Oh, no. Do sit down, mademoiselle.
I was at the concert. Oh, it was a beautiful concerto, Mr. Duchesne.
Oh, you know who I am. Oh, how nice. And you are?
Oh, just a girl called Anne.
Anne, this is Mr. London.
Hello.
Hello.
Another round, gents. How about you, young lady?
Yes, the young lady may have whatever she wishes.
Oh, no, I only intended...
Oh, but I insist.
Thank you. A vermouth cassis, please.
Another cognac for me. Christopher?
No, thanks.
Anne, may I tell you that you are the most beautiful young lady that I've met in many a dull year? Christopher, isn't she exquisite?
Very. Yes, I'm partial to lavender eyes and red hair.
Thank you.
Perhaps you are musician.
Oh, no. I'm nobody.
Oh.
It's strange, my sitting here with two men who lead such exciting lives.
I, too.
Heavens, I know the name Christopher London.
There's your drinks.
Oh, thank you very much, yes.
To your concerto, Mr. Duchesne.
To your beauty, Mademoiselle Anne.
Thank you. Oh, look. Isn't that a tourbillon over there?
Where?
Over there, in the corner. Turn around and tell me.
No resemblance, but it is not Itourbi.
No, I see now it isn't. Oh, dear, what time is it?
Oh, let's see. It's, 11:40.
Oh, I must make a phone call. Do excuse me for a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, la. Oh, such beauty. Oh, that soft skin. That red hair.
That red hair is one of the finest wigs I've ever seen.
Oh, Christopher, ridiculous.
No, somewhere I've met her before. But where?
You cynical young man. Oh, no, my friend. You are so wrong. You are... honey, I'm dizzy.
What's the matter?
My eyes,
What?
Christopher!
Wait a minute.
What's wrong with him, mister?
He's dead.
Gee. How?
You better not wash that cognac glass. I have a hunch the police will find poison in it. Getting us to turn our backs. That's the oldest trick in the world. We fell for it.
That redhead?
Yeah, the beautiful, phony redhead.
You were right, Mr. London. Poison.
How about the girl, Inspector?
Not a trace. What gets me is the motive. Why bump off an old guy who writes music? Maybe the music was real lousy, huh?
No. Somebody didn't want him to go abroad.
That's tough luck. Europe must be swell this time of year.
Yes, I think it will be.
What do you mean?
I'll see you when I get back.
Where are you going?
To the south of France. There's a woman I ought to meet.
That's different. I thought you were going on business.
I am, Inspector. Grim business. It's always hard to lose a friend, especially when his music has brought joy to a world which needs all the joy it can get. I was angry, cold angry. Poor Louis Duchesne. Never again to see his old love, the great, the famous Wandelka, and to come back a wealthy man. What did it all mean? Why should he die at the hands of a girl with lavender eyes and a lilting voice? So I boarded a plane for France. And the next night I walked into the fabulous casino at Monte Carlo. I went from table to table, looking for the artist and woman known as Wandelka, when suddenly...
Hello, London.
Huh? Well, Phil Zeruccio, huh? Well, how time flies. Last time I saw you, a grand jury was indicting you for murder.
Yeah, but I got a good mouthpiece. How's Broadway?
Yeah, a lot safer since you were deported, Phil.
I got news for you, London. I ain't particularly delighted at seeing you here.
Afraid I'll spoil some little project you're working on?
Listen, I'm a respectable businessman here. Bought myself a chain of restaurants. Pure as the driven snow, you might say, speaking of me.
I'll bet. Probably every politician from Marseille to Rome is bribed up to their beards.
Talk sweet, London. Better yet, don't talk. Just beat it. Get out of Monaco. Try Bulgaria or Iceland.
You know, I've often wondered, Zeruccio, did you really have 40 guys killed off like the DA said? Or was it all a mistake?
I'm warning you, London. Stop needling. I got pull in Europe. I can have you out of here in a day. Keep your nose clean and stay out of my hair.
I knew Phil Zeruccio. Compared to him, Lucky Luciano and Lepke were sissies. Or was he on the level about turning over a new leaf? And what was he doing here in a plaid dinner jacket, wandering about the casino of Monte Carlo? Did he know the girl of the lavender eyes? Had he ever heard of Wandelka? I strolled out into the gardens, thinking.
Penny for your thoughts, Kit.
What? Oh, Professor Sullivan.
Oh, bless you, Kit. It's good to see you. I've missed you dreadfully.
How did you know I'd be here?
Intuition, my
now,
friend.
Wait a minute. Don't kid me, Professor. Every time I'm working on a case, you pop up. Havana, Paris, everywhere I go.
Ah, but you pay me so well, Kit. Now, can I do any favors now for you? I'm your humble servant. You can trust me.
Yes, always for a price. You've been in jail since I last saw you?
Oh, only a fortnight in Algiers. Oh, Kit, Algerian prisons are gloomy places.
Well, I suppose I've got to let you help me.
Yes, that's right. You're my conscience, Kit. You always pay me to do something legal and save me from evil association.
I've a proposition.
Ah, those words are like rose petals. How much?
Oh, 50.
What do I steal?
Do you know a woman called Wandelka?
Oh, yes, a great woman. Great pianist. A beautiful...
Take me to her chateau.
Oh, now I'd be cheating you if I did that. See, the poor lady was...
Did you say was?
Yes. May the saints cherish her. Wandelka died yesterday. Tomorrow morning is her funeral.
Stand here, Professor, behind this tombstone.
I dislike graveyards intensely.
Yes, but this funeral fascinates me. I wonder who are those two mourners?
Oh, they are her only relatives, her sister and her niece. They came from Poland only recently.
I wonder what they look like. I wish they'd raise up their veils. That's better. Oh, thank you. Well, the mother must have been a beauty in her day.
Wandelka was even more beautiful, at 60.
Her only relatives, huh? Oh, yes, that's right. She never married, did she?
Oh, the niece is exquisite. Yeah, there now. Isn't she the most beautiful brunette you've ever seen?
So she just came from Poland, did she?
Yes.
Well, the day before yesterday, I saw her sitting at a bar on 56th Street in New York in a red wig.
Oh, that's impossible. No, she came from Poland.
Oh, Professor, it grieves me to tell you this, but you're a liar.
Oh, Kit, if you didn't pay me so well, I'd be hurt to the quick.
Now, how well do you really know these two women? Come on now, tell the truth.
I've never spoken a word to
For
them.
$50 more, would you tell me the real truth?
Oh, well, in that case...
Yes, I thought so.
Cash.
Oh, Professor, oh, you're a rascal. All right, here you are.
Good. Now, the truth is this. Those charming women pay me to stay in this town so that I can notify them should anyone try and get near Wandelka's chateau.
Why are they so eager to keep people away from that house?
Who knows? Perhaps, I'll merely say, perhaps, Wandelka is not in that coffin at all.
I've got another pass key here. Might do it.
We'll get into trouble entering without permission.
You're a stickler for ethics at the wrong time, Professor. There now. That does it. Well, this is quite a place.
Yes, it dates back to Marie Antoinette.
I wonder where the servants are.
You know, that's a strange thing, Kit. A few days after the two women arrived here, not a servant could be located.
Oh, naturally. Where could Wandelka be?
I don't know. No, that I swear is true.
I wonder where that staircase leads over there.
Oh, that's to the bedrooms.
All right, let's try it.
Look, the women will be coming back from the funeral soon.
Courage, Professor.
This staircase was built too steep, Kit.
Shh. Wait a minute. Listen.
Behind that door. Perhaps that's Wandelka.
Undoubtedly.
Let's see here. And that's locked. Wandelka. Wandelka, is that you?
Yeah, it gives me goose pimples to hear that. A great pianist playing like a child, feeble-minded, insane, maybe?
Yes. And why is she being kept a prisoner in her own house? Now, look, I'll give you another 50.
Now, if you were to offer me $1 million, I couldn't tell you, Kit. Now, those women tell me very little.
Wandelka. Look, I know you're being held a prisoner. I've come to help you. Can you hear me?
It's like a lunatic asylum. Come on, let's get out of here.
Yes. So they'll be back soon, and I want to meet those lovely ladies on a different basis.
But, Kit, what does Wandelka mean to you?
A friend of mine loved her.
Yes, monsieur?
I have come to offer my condolences at your loss. I'm from America. I played many times in the Philharmonic Orchestra when Wandelka was the soloist.
Won't you come in? Mama, this is an American gentleman who knew poor auntie. He has come to pay his respects.
You come at unhappy time. Won't you sit down?
Thank you, madame. Your sister was one of the great musicians, one of the great women of the century. She inspired me to love music and to love life. She will be remembered as was Bernhardt and Duse and Madame Curie.
Oh, I'm glad to know someone young and a foreigner still holds her memory dear.
What was the cause of her death, madame?
Pneumonia. She insists on going to casino. She loved to play roulette. And that night it rained. And she caught cold. She was so weak and...
Oh, don't cry, Mama. The past is over.
Why are there no servants here to attend to your needs, madame?
We wish to sit here alone with our grief. Oh, but we are being ungracious, Anna. The wine...
Your name is Anna?
Yes, my sister had always a great wine cellar. You stay here, Anna, and entertain the gentlemen. I will get the wine.
Why you look at me like that, monsieur?
I came to find death. And I found beauty.
Thank you.
It is so seldom one sees a Polish girl with hair so black.
My father was part Italian.
Oh, I see. You know, were Renoir alive today, he would wish to paint you. Your coloring is exquisite. The black hair, the lavender eyes.
Make love to me, monsieur. You choose a most unhappy time.
Oh, but when a man is swept off his feet, love does not wait on birth or death.
I had heard how impetuous Americans were. No. What would my mother say?
Oh, she's still in the wine cellar.
You are wicked.
Oh?
Well, then, one kiss.
Yes.
What is your name?
Christopher.
The name of a saint. But you are no saint. Yet you are charming.
Anna. Anna. Oh, Anna, I could compose a tone poem to that name.
Please, Mother is coming back.
Oh, Mother has no sense of timing.
Those steps are hard on old women. Here, Anna, pour the gentleman his wine. Taste it, and tell me if you have ever had a finer amoroso.
Yes, drink, monsieur.
Aren't you joining me?
Not just now.
Oh, but I insist your daughter at least take part in an old American custom. Yes, it's called the loving cup. Now, when a man meets a girl as lovely as your daughter, he asks her to drink first from his glass.
Anna is too young to drink.
Oh, but surely an exception can be made here.
I accept your flattery, monsieur. However...
It is not flattering. No, to look at you is to have some of the chill taken from the memory of your dead aunt. Oh, wait. Don't I hear a piano being played somewhere?
Oh, no, young man. Imagination plays tricks, you know. My poor sister.
Oh, yes, of course. I must have imagined it. Come, Anna. You shall have the first sip from my glass.
I cannot allow my daughter...
I insist.
It is difficult, young man, to know where flattery ends and rudeness begins with you.
Surely you can't object to drinking your own wine, Anna. Or can you?
Oh, of course not. No, certainly not.
Well, then.
Anna, no.
That's a pretty phony accent you girls are wearing.
All right, wise guy. Now just stand quite still.
What a smart little revolver.
It'll do the work.
Professor.
Yes, I'm coming.
Tie this fool up in the cellar.
Oh. Poor kid. You shouldn't have come here.
Oh, Professor, sometimes you shake my faith in the human race.
You're listening to Christopher London, starring Glenn Ford.
You know, Professor, that gun pointing at me is superfluous.
Bless you, kid. I take no chances with you.
Oh, where's your shame? I mean, taking my money and then telling those women about me.
Well, it's difficult to have both a conscience and a bank book at the same time.
What wouldn't you do for money?
Offhand, I can't really imagine.
Tell me, how much did they pay you to double-cross me?
50,000 francs.
Well, that's hardly worth the effort, the way francs are these days.
Now, don't undermine my confidence in international finance, kid. You know, I pity you. Here you'll sit and starve while they go on trying to get her secret from her.
What secret?
I wish I knew. I asked Lottie, that's the girl who calls herself Anna. Lottie's from Newark, New Jersey. Worked in a burlesque for a while.
I'll bet she did.
I asked her what secret would Wondoka have. She only snarled at me. It's amazing how beautiful women can snarl.
Louis Deschaise was poisoned at the bar by Lottie. Why? He was coming to visit Wandelka. He was sure he'd strike it rich. Now, what had Wandelka written him? I mean, why should she, of all people, be kept a prisoner? Why the fake funeral?
Too bad you'll never know the answers.
You think they're asleep by now?
Oh, yes.
Oh, think of that wonderful woman, Professor. Haven't you any sentiment?
Well, for $500 in American money, I could weep buckets. And at the same time, cut your cords.
200.
5.
Either my price or I sit here and I starve. Now, which is it going to be?
Oh, well, naturally, I can't let you die. That's the deal.
But there's no use unless I get to that room upstairs.
Oh, by the merest chance, I picked the old lady's pocket.
What?
Yes, I have the key. And for another 50?
No.
Oh, well, what can I do? My heart can't allow you to be eaten by rats.
Oh.
Wait, here. I'll cut you free.
That's it. Well, you're a noble soul, Professor.
Yes. Now, here's the key.
Now we go upstairs to find Wendelka.
Oh, not me. No, I've had enough for one day. I'll go back and have sweet dreams in your hotel room. Now then, give me the money.
Oh, I haven't it on me. How about tomorrow?
Fortunately, in the past, your credit has been good. Well, Kit, we come to the parting of the ways. I back to town, and you to...
Yes. Who knows where? Madame Wendelka? Madame Wendelka.
Who are you? I don't know you. Go away. I don't know you.
Please try to understand what I'm saying. It's very important. I've come to get you away from these women.
I don't know you.
Yes, I know. All right, I know about that. Now, we're going to get you out of here. I'll take you to a hospital. I'll take care of you. You'll be well again. Please, will you stop playing and listen to me? My name is Christopher London. I'm a friend of Louis Deschays.
Ah, good. I had to make sure. Thank heaven you have come. The fools, the arrogant fools. Who did they think they were browbeating some poor little old lady? How easy it was to pretend I was out of my mind. You say you know my friend Louis.
Yes. He was all set to sail for France when he was murdered.
Murdered? Oh, no. Poor man. How horrible.
Yes, well, I hated to tell you. But...
Well, at my age, one's friends die, one by one. Who killed him? That girl. It was that girl, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, poor Louis. He was always a boy at heart about a pretty face. Like I am about a handsome face. I must say, young man, I could not ask for a finer-looking rescuer than you. How romantic of you to bother about an old lady like me. Well, not really an old lady.
Don't be too optimistic. We've got to get out of here. This is a dangerous gang.
Yes, I see them all hanged yet, or the guillotine, her pretty head chopped off. Oh, my poor Louis.
Tell me, why did they kill him?
He was the only one to whom I confided my secret.
Secret?
Young man, I have 3 passions. Attractive men, the playing of the piano, and the roulette wheel. The first 2, I mastered. But the third, now, at last, after years, I have discovered the perfect mathematical system to break the bank at Monte Carlo.
Oh?
This gang found out about my system. Zut alors, they take over my chateau one day, pretend to be my relatives, get rid of my friends, get rid of my servants, and I am their captive. But I do not tell them the system. I destroy all papers, all calculations.
Oh, but you must have one copy hidden.
Ah, I have.
Now, look, this is no time to play
This is it. This is the system.
Well, what do you mean?
Play the tune in the key of E, using B flat as the code for number 1.
It's the old musical code.
Naturally. Played and varied 5 times. When it's decoded, the entire numerical system is spelled out. I've kept it in my mind all this time. Played it so I would not forget.
Oh, yes. Okay, wise guy. I told you to keep your hands off.
Hello, Zeruccio. You're at the bottom of all this, huh?
Oh, what are you going to do? Don't beat me again. Shut up, you idiotic fool.
Stop playing and come across with that system.
What system? I'm just an old lady who... My arm!
Smart work, one second. Oh, no, you don't, Zeruccio.
Out of my way, London.
Not so fast. Get his gun.
I have it. Shall I shoot them both? It would be a pleasure.
You're not insane.
No, and my fingers are exceptionally strong, thanks to Mozart. You silly girl. I'll stand guard, Monsieur London. You get the police.
What about the other woman? Where is she?
It does not matter. If she shows up, I'll take care of her. If she does not show up, the police, they will find her.
Well, you're everything that Louis said, madame. Brave, wise, and beautiful.
Oh, I think soon I shall play a concert dedicated to you, monsieur. Oh, if I were 20 years younger.
You are eternally young, madame.
What? Hold up your hands. Oh, you caught them.
Yes, I'm afraid your heroics have come a little late, Professor. Oh, Wandelka, give him your gun. He will stand guard until I come back with the police. You must be weary.
Weary? Nonsense. After you are done with the police, come to the casino. I will be there playing my system. I'll treat you to champagne and introduce you to all the pretty girls.
Oh, so that was it. A session to break the bank, eh? But what is the system?
You'd like to know, Professor?
Oh, yes.
Very much, huh?
Very much, yes.
Yeah, I see. Well, give him your system, Wandelka. Allegro con molto.
That was Christopher London, starring Glenn Ford, transcribed, produced, and directed by William N. Robeson, and created especially for radio by the world's most widely read mystery writer, Earl Stanley Gardner. Tonight's play was written by Bernard Schoenfeld, with a musical score composed and conducted by Van Cleve. Included in Mr. Ford's company were Ben Wright, Eleanor Audley, Ramsey Hill, Jeanette Nolan, Ted DeCorsia, Georgia Ellis, and Rick Vallon. Throughout the week, NBC brings you the best adventure mystery dramas on the air. You'll hear action-packed, fast-moving plots to hold your interest right up to the smashing climax on such thrilling programs as Big Town, Mr. District Attorney, The Big Story, and Dragnet every week on most of these NBC stations. On Dragnet, you'll hear the documented cases from the Los Angeles police files. The Big Story brings you true tales from the front pages of America's newspapers. Mr. District Attorney, the champion of the people, takes you through an exciting episode in the conviction of a criminal.
Welcome back. Well, if you're a fan of The Man Called X, this may almost seem like a Man Called X script, with the professor acting a lot like Pagon Welschmidt. And there's a good reason for that. This was actually originally written as a World War II era Man Called X script. It was modified somewhat, to fit the time that we were no longer in wartime. So, we had some changes in terms of the actual villain of the piece. But this was actually, originally, the script was used for a 1944 Man Called X script. And of course, one big difference here, when you listen to the later Man Called X scripts, Pagon certainly is not above, extorting as much money as he can from Mr. X, but will rarely do something that could double-cross him or do him serious harm. There were some parts of the script that probably made more sense with the A Man Called X, such as the professor showing up everywhere he went. Now, unless something radically changed in the 11 episodes we missed, we hadn't seen any of that with Christopher London. Of course, you always wonder, how did he, is he operating in New York when he started out operating in San Francisco? So I'm not certain whether this was as sudden a change in the script for the listeners of the day as it is for us listening to it later, or if they had kind of made some gradual changes in that direction. All right, well, now we turn to some listener comments and feedback. And Jim comments regarding our last video theater episode, Martin Caine, The Doctored Will. And he says, great show. Really like how they handled the commercials. Wish they would do it the same today. Well, thanks so much, Jim. And if the in program commercials with cast endorsing are done right. I think that they were very well done. Honestly, when I'm listening to the Burns and Allen World War II era programs with Swan Soap as the sponsor, Bill Goodwin's commercials are absolutely fantastic. They're a highlight of the show as much as anything else. But I think, obviously the fact that most shows don't have a single sponsor these days has kind of made it hard to do that sort of thing. But I do agree with Jim. If it were possible, I think I would prefer that to the sort of commercials we get today. All right, well, that will do it for today, and that will do it for Christopher London. Join us next week. We're going to start into Poirot and Old Time Radio, and we'll begin with an episode of the Mercury Theater. You definitely don't want to miss that. Well, our listener support campaign continues, and special thanks to Philip, who sent along a donation, and we will send along access to our premium site, plus his choice of several thank you gifts. At the $20 level, during the listener support campaign, we give away digital downloads to Colonial Radio Theater. And that can include Sherlock Holmes, Father Brown, also Wizard of Oz, Gettysburg, Zorro, and the Pirate Raiders. They've really got a great variety of adventures. Also, King Solomon's Mines, one of my personal favorites. At the $50 level, you can get a digital download of any of Radio Archive's smaller sets, including Let George Do It Volume 4, which has 2 episodes of Let George Do It not in general circulation. And at the $100 level, you can get one of their larger sets, which there are 2 different Let George Do It sets, volumes 1 and 2, that have several episodes that will not be available to be played on this program, but they've got the re-syndicated Canadian versions. All right, well, now it's time for today's episode, and you can see all the list, by the way, support.greatdetectives.net. But now it's time for today's episode of Let George Do It, Nothing But the Truth.
Personal notice, danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details. Standard Oil Company of California, on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations throughout the West, invites you to Let George Do It. Nothing But the Truth, another adventure of George Valentine.
Dear Mr. Valentine, first letter I ever written 17 years, since the last time I filed a gold claim in Nogales. Name's Tioga Tom, only honest man left in the West. You ever heard of the castle I live in out by the desert? Then you know what these railroad tickets are for. To come see me. But you don't know anything else, understand? Trouble you fellas, you jump on conclusions. Think nobody else is smart but you. If you think I need help, then you're crazier than the people in Cactus Junction. And I ain't spit in their direction since WPA. But I do need a mite of assistance regarding the arrest of a culprit. I'm a man everybody tries to pester on account of how rich they think I struck it. But me, I like my privacy, and I aim to maintain it. P.S. The culprit I make reference to is the one who stole or made disappear or killed my dog. Only botheration is, it was my C&I dog.
Like a chicken leg, dearie, I brought a whole fryer along with some hard-boiled eggs. You know how trains are. Oops. Excuse me while I just get my valise on the rack.
It's all right. I'll move my coat, only this...
Yes, you came all the way through from the city, huh, dearie? Claire Brooks, it says on the baggage thing. Oh, my, that's a nice name. I had a boarder named Brooks once, but he died with his kidneys, poor darling. How you like our town, Cactus Junction? It ain't much, is it?
Please, excuse me, but really, this seat is...
There we are. Guess there's no room for my hats, though. Have to jab it in across the aisle. Mind me to keep my eye on it. You never know. So now let's eat.
Well, I'm awfully sorry, madam, but I'm trying
Go
to...
on, dearie. There's plenty of chicken for both of us. Oh, but I had the most awful time wringing its neck. Oh, you should have seen me. I chased him all around the
Oh,
yard.
no. I said, will you please not sit down here? The seat is taken. Oh, George.
Yeah, here I am, Angel.
Well, if I'd known you was that tight.
Oh, that's all right, lady. Sit still, sit still.
Look, George.
Going out for a smoke. Have a nice time, Brooksy.
Oh, George. Isn't he sweet after all? Now, my name's Carmichael, dearie, and let me tell you about this
Good. Let it go, Jake. Well, here we go, Mr. Valentine. Last stop before Emery Switch.
Emery Switch. That's where we get off, huh, conductor, for Tom's?
Yep. 2-3 mile walk, I guess, up the hill. But there's a moon tonight. Rode around the back way, but of course it's his father.
Uh-huh. Kind of a lonely spot for a blind man, isn't it?
Yeah, desert rat with money. Probably never let a doctor touch him in his life. Seen him out there once, just a couple of weeks ago. Was fumbling along, hanging on to his dog.
Doesn't like people, huh?
Oh, there's an old Oriental been with him for years, if that's what you mean. Ho Sing, cook and bottle washer. Richer increases, Tom is. The whole fortune might have paid in his castle, they say. I can't feel too sorry for him.
Tioga Tom, last honest man in the West.
Says him. Well, you'll be the first visitor up there for a long time, I guess. Maybe you can get your hands on some of that gold. Underway now. Save me enough.
Hey, wait for me! Hey, stop it!
Oh, conductor, there seems to be a guy out here who wants to
Never
get
make
off.
it, will he? Always somebody too late for a train.
Huh?
Ridiculous. Shows a man's got no efficiency. I'm never late.
Well, come on, let's give him a
He's
hand.
drinking, too. Can't even run straight, you see?
Help me, fellas, will you, please?
Here, let me reach.
Now, here, I can reach him.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Easy there. Couldn't even hang onto my hand. Don't know why we bother. He's liable to fall.
Get out of the way, friend. I'll get him. Here we go, boys. Come on out. Here we are.
Thanks. Sorry to be in trouble. Was in the bar. Everybody's so nice. They couldn't get away.
Okay, friend. You made it all right.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. Here's your head over here.
My name's Loosefoot. Want a drink?
What?
Loosefoot, the name. Somebody just give it to me, I guess. I don't remember. Come on. Have
Wait a minute.
sip
Your
there,
ticket,
huh?
too.
Don't you
Hey, look, it fell off your hat.
Take it. Here, give me that. Yeah, well, it's sure nice of you,
Hey,
pal.
Emery Switch, it says.
Yeah, didn't it? Oh, sure. I'm a necktie salesman. Got a few samples for the switchman who works there. That's all. Well, thanks again, and you too. Where'd the other guy go?
Back in the car, I guess.
Oh, well, thank him for giving me a hand, will you? I mean, thanks. I sure...
Yeah, sure. Only didn't you notice, Loose Brain? What that other guy tried to give you was a shove.
I didn't shove him, Mr. Valentine. I just didn't help him much. I didn't want him on the train. What of it?
Well, Mr. Flannery, I don't know. I'm just curious.
Perfect right. Perfect.
His name's Loosefoot. You know him?
Who doesn't? I've done business in Cactus Junction. Lawyer. Coming this time from the city, though.
As far as Emery Switch, huh? You too, maybe, huh?
And why not? Now, Loosefoot's the kind of a person who's always in the way. Son of an old partner of Tioga Tom's, or claims to be. Always claiming to have a claim on him.
Oh? Why are you going? What's your claim, Mr. Flannery?
Never ask a lawyer a direct question, young man.
Spoken like an ambulance.
Or presume on a man's guilt before it happens. Now, I haven't really seen Tom since before he lost his eyesight. Many's the time I've handled his legal affairs.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, guilt before it happens? What happened? What's going on tonight? You and Loosefoot. That makes three of us headed for the same place to visit a guy nobody ever visits. And all on the same night. Why?
Oh, you too, eh? Well. What's your angle? You need counsel, say so. You don't, leave me alone. Why should I say why? I'll tell you this, though. There's 4, not 3.
Huh?
His common law wife for 6 months back in 1917.
Or she says she was, but that's her claim. Not a bad one.
You mean Tioga Tom?
That big, overdeveloped appetite out there in the coach. Notice her eating fried chicken. A woman, Mr. Valentine, who'd wring your neck for a favor, but charged to tell you the time. The widow Carmichael.
My land, yes. That's where I live in Cactus Junction. Just to be near the poor dear. 33 years I've waited. The one true love of my life.
All right, so you're going to see him too, but would you...
4 of us? 4 of us? My, I think it's just friendly. That's what I think. Only even with my shoes on, it counts to 5 to me. Ain't that so, Cousin Henry?
Who's cousin?
Well, I guess it does, widow.
George, he's some sort of a cousin of Tioga Tom.
Mother's side 'twas. Never very close, but blood's always thicker than water. The way I was raised.
If you count Miss Brooks. Here it's 6 of us, ain't it?
Tioga, he never liked crowds. Family trait.
I told them we were going up to do a magazine story on him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But the rest of you, Mrs. Carmichael, would you please...
I don't hold no secrets.
I'm sure you don't.
I ain't afraid to speak up.
Remember, blood's thicker than strangers, too, widow.
And to whom is bereavement a secret?
What?
Oh, but he'll be well again. I know he will. I brought along my nursing things. It's my opportunity as well as my duty. It's the telegrams, Mr. Valentine. We all got 'em. Even that loose foot up in the bar car. Where Tom's near us. Bless his adorable old soul.
Now, widow.
Telegrams, but I don't know
Got why.
'em
this evening, miss, from Po Sing, that heathen up the castle. Yeah, read for yourself.
Oh, thanks. Boss, very bad. Fall down, very bad. Come quick, please. Signed, Posting.
Boss, very bad. A blind man, and he's already had some kind of a fall.
Emery switch. 10 minutes stop, Emery switch.
Come on, Brooksy, I got to get to a phone. Trap? What trap?
What is it?
What is it?
Oh, some kind of trap. I know, Savvy. All the same, he mixed
Oh,
up.
for the love of... Look, Posting, I told you this is Mr. Valentine. I'm on my way up, but I want to find out what happened since Tom wrote me. Now, if you need a doctor or something...
No. Boss, he say doctor just for horses and the sending he bills. Boss dying, that's all.
What?
Come quick, that's all. Boss is dying.
Dying? Come on, Brooksy, let's get our stuff off the train and get up there. I don't know what's going on.
But George, day before yesterday, a blind man's dog was stolen or killed, and then he has an accident.
I know. A rugged character who probably kept moving around, dog or no dog. Sure, somebody's up to something.
This bunch of people. Haven't you realized what they are?
Yeah, they all got telegrams.
You know what I mean. They're the only people in the world, apparently, who have any sort of claim against Tioga Tom. They're nothing but vultures.
Well, I'll go you one better, Angel. Say ghouls. Because you want to bet a guy like Tom has never made out a will? So if he did die, they'd all want to be handy to stake out those claims. Start grabbing for his gold.
There they go, George. All walking out together.
Yeah. About 3 miles up the hill, somebody said. Only suppose you and I just walk fast and beat him, huh? Let's get to Tom first.
All right. Loose foot and the widow. Look, there's certainly a pair. Cousin Henry, he's as slow as they are.
Very good, I tell you. But there's one who's not so slow. Hey, he's not with him.
Who, Mr. Fleming?
Yeah. Still in the compartment. Let's drag him along with us. I want to ask him about what he did with that seeing-eye dog.
Ask him. George, what makes you
Oh,
think
just guessing. I'll tell you later, Angel. Hey, Flannery, let's go.
George. Mr. Flannery's dead.
Yeah. Murdered.
In just a moment, we'll return to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. Listen to the difference. Yes, now you can actually hear authentic scientific proof of the difference between new RPM motor oil and premium-type motor oils, as designated by the American Petroleum Institute. Auto engines are equipped with a radiated piston ring, and during operation, minute particles of radioactive metal wear off the ring. Geiger counters are thus able to detect the amount of wear actually taking place. Listen now as the Geiger counters click off the difference. First, the low wear rate of the new RPM. Now, the much faster wear rate of the conventional oil. Now, new RPM again. You have just heard authentic scientific proof that new RPM motor oil cuts in half the wear rate of critical engine parts, doubles the life of the average auto engines between major overhauls due to lubrication. Proved in the laboratory and checked out in severe road service, new RPM motor oil is sold with a money-back guarantee of satisfaction. Ask for it at standard stations and independent Chevron gas stations where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. And now, back to tonight's adventure of George Valentine. Tioga Tom, the legendary man in the castle overlooking the desert. He thought he didn't need help, but that was yesterday, when all that worried him was the disappearance of his seeing-eye dog. Once his protection was gone, something happened to Tom, an accident. And his only friend, Po Sing, says that he is dying, says, come quick. The vultures, the only relatives or ones with claims against Tom, they're gathering too. But if your name is George Valentine, you can't hurry to the castle quite as quickly as you'd like, because one of the vultures is dead. Yes, Mr. Flannery has been murdered.
Holy brother of McIntosh, what are we going to do?
All right, take it easy, conductor. Take it
Some
easy.
sort of a sharp weapon, George.
Yeah, a little tiny wound in his throat.
Yeah, but I got a train to worry about, and them people all scattered now. I better get on the telegraph.
George, you said you had a hunch Mr. Flannery was the one who did something to the dog. Why?
Oh, any of these people could have got at that dog, you know, Angel. It happened yesterday. It's only 15, 20 miles from Cactus Junction out to the castle. So they could have gone back and forth.
Well, what's on your mind?
But Mr. Flannery told you he'd come all the way from the city, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Neat, sharp little guy, man with efficiency. How about that, did he?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm so rattled that I can't tell.
There's mud, clay on the bottom of his shoes, and the instep, see it? I noticed when he crossed his leg and carefully creased his trousers.
Mr. Valentine, wait till the
If
sheriff...
he'd been in the city the day before, how'd mud get there? The kind of guy who'd have a shine before breakfast.
Hey, wait a minute. I got the stubs here. Yes. Mm-hmm. Flannery, compartment... But you're right. He just got on at Cactus Junction, just like the others.
Uh-huh. So then maybe I'm wrong about the dog.
Oh, George, now you're confusing me even worse.
Well, why was he murdered? Who murdered him? Maybe somebody else did something, and he was up here snooping around and saw it. Quite an operator, you know that. That'll be his style. See something and just keep quiet.
Hey, Al, you see him?
No.
See a little woman, a little wobbly guy, and a stiff-jointed slowpoke?
I know, sure. I know. No, I didn't see him. I couldn't catch up. Already left the road, I guess. Took the trail up the hill.
Oh, brother.
This road run around the backside of the castle?
Sure, about 5 miles up there. There's a place you
Okay, stay and help the conductor, will you? Let me have your truck.
Well, he's got to get us off on the side, and then
All right. You guys worry about the train and the body. Come on, Brooksy. The ghouls are on foot. We can beat them.
Yeah, sure,
Only get that sheriff here fast. One murder's enough for tonight. Particularly if the second one should be me.
Fits the description.
Yeah. Up this way, I guess.
Listen.
Coyote.
Oh,
There's a rock wall here of some kind. Pretty crude, too, but
I can make it all right. Ooh,
easy now. Yeah. Barbed wire. Guy really does like his privacy.
George, in the moonlight, that's the house way up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Old ranch house. All run down. But with stone around it. And only one light. This door, I guess. Don't see anybody inside there.
At least we're ahead of the others.
Yeah. Uphill, it'll take him another half hour.
Only George, the murderer, if he's one of them, wouldn't stay with the others. Wouldn't he run away?
Oh, maybe whatever this is all about isn't finished yet. Here we are, Angel. I guess we walk right in.
Oh, kitchen. Living room in here, apparently.
Yeah. Hello? Anybody here? Hey, Tom, where are you?
This place is so empty, but it's clean. That must be his room. It's the only one that
Yeah, maybe he's asleep.
George.
Hey, a man dying, but his bed's empty. He's gone.
Yeah, he gone.
Huh? What?
Oh, Mr. Valentine. Hello, miss.
You're Pro Sing, but where's your...
Tom gone. Yes, gone.
Now, look, friend, what is this? A man who takes a bad fall and is dying doesn't just disappear like that?
Oh, Mr. Tom say, Mr. Tom gone. Now,
Now, excuse me,
Hey,
please.
wait a minute. Where are you going?
I get a cleaver knife.
A what?
Meet the cleaver. You sorry? Mr. Tom say you must stay.
Oh, he does, huh? The boss. Old honest Tom says we should stay, huh? Suppose we don't. You going to use that thing?
More better, I think you stay.
Oh, sure. Okay.
No.
Stay outside. Oh, brother. Valentine the sucker. Valentine
George,
the
there's a fence down here the front way, too. Supposed to be a gate half a mile from the house.
Yeah, and this was a path when we started out on it. Where the deuce did we lose it? Valentine the Pathfinder, the Boy
Oh,
Scout.
George, you don't know yet.
Hey, look out now. Easy there.
Oh,
We seem to be down in a gully.
yeah. Trail must be there, George. Little bridge right up over it. Come on.
Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't what I was looking at. Sawdust.
Hmm?
Yeah, sawdust. Scattered. All around here, too. Farther under the bridge.
Seems to be just a little footbridge.
Pretty far up there, though, isn't it? Yeah, sawdust has been here for a day or two. Wet. Fell here, and there's some on top of the crosspiece.
Yeah, I see it.
Somebody said trap. Something up there has been freshly sawed, Angel. And anybody coming up the trail from the front gate would have to go across that bridge, wouldn't they?
And it's so dark they couldn't
Yeah,
see.
come on. Get up there before somebody tries to walk across it.
Look out where you're going.
What?
Bump into a man just sitting peaceful like that. Hey, woman's voice, wasn't it?
Well, yes, couldn't you see it?
Tom, Tioga Tom, wouldn't you know?
You wouldn't know anything. Who is it, Valentine?
Yeah, I'm standing right here in front of you. You're sitting on a rock waiting for something to happen.
Detectives always thinking. Trouble with you, fella.
But sitting nice and healthy, huh? The poor guy who had the bad tumble. Only honest man left in the West. And he gets his hired boy to send out telegrams saying he's dying.
Had a tumble. Broke 10 ribs back in 1922. Never told a lie in my life.
1920.
So that's the way you stretch it. Poor dying Tom.
Been dying since the day I was born. So have you.
So now you're sitting here waiting to hear wood break, huh? Whole thing brings you out where you can, waiting to hear people tumble through that little trap you set up there.
Pester me, every one of them. I told you that.
I'm afraid we don't believe anything you told us.
Told you I like my privacy. I aim to maintain it. Bunch of vultures all pester me looking for my gold.
So you hire me to...
Seeing I dog disappeared. Don't you think somebody's up to something? You jump on conclusions. Say, I had that bridge sawed. Or one of them did it.
Like one of them did a murder, I suppose.
Ain't interested in murder. Gonna die myself sometime. That's enough to worry about. Just trying to slow up the process, that's all. Steal my dog and then saw my bridge. Who do you think uses that bridge? I do. Even without my dog, I can find my way around this place, but I found 'em out, yes, sir. Tom isn't going to go down with a... Huh?
Go on, Munchausen.
Hold your tongue. Ain't you got ears?
Yes, somebody's coming.
I'm going to get up on that bridge before...
No, this way.
Hey! Hey, where am I? Who is that over there? Where's the trail? I can't see.
My loving vultures. Tell everybody they're friends of mine can't even find their way around. Hello, Henry. Your voice, ain't it?
Tom.
Hitting a fiddle.
What in the name of...
Never mind. Where's the rest of them? Loosefoot and the lady.
Oh, coming, I guess. We moved kind of separate. Only that telegram, Tom. What kind of a stunt?
Yeah. Let me take your arm. Help you out.
Quiet, both of you.
Henry Loosefoot. Mrs. Carmichael.
Another county you heard from. Could hear that one across 3 counties.
Yeah, there she is, over on the other side. She's headed for the bridge. Come on.
But
Hurry
Tom,
up
we
and
can't...
get her. I'll be all right.
George, we can't get up there in time. We're on the wrong side. She's coming this way.
Mrs. Carmichael, stop.
Who is that? Where are you?
Stay where you are. Don't come across that bridge.
What did you say? Oh, the bridge, yes. I see it. All right. Stop. Don't walk on it. Oh, it's you, dearie. I'm coming.
Stop, I said. Stop, will you?
Well, I can't stop till I get there.
Oh, Lord, she'll fall. Stop.
My heavens, what's all the fuss?
Oh, we...
Out of the
we
way,
thought-
Angel. Let me see something.
What's the matter with him? Oh, dearie, what a climb. And the wind blowing my hat off all the
What are
time.
you trying to see, George?
The gird is sawed half through, all right. But a board's been freshly nailed across to support it.
George,
But
I
who
don't...
could have nailed the board across? Tom and Poe Singh are the only ones up here.
So Tom was telling the truth. Someone else sawed it, and Tom had it fixed.
Wait a minute. Mrs. Carmichael, where's your hat pin?
What?
Yeah. When Flannery was murdered, a little tiny wound. He was stabbed with something sharp.
Well, how in blazes should I know where the pin is?
George, she pinned her hat to the seat opposite us. The seat across the aisle. I remember it.
Did I? Couldn't find it when I left the train.
And the only person who would have noticed it or thought of using it was the one who sat down there.
Cousin Henry.
Yes, Cousin Henry.
And George, He's down there with Tom.
Wait a minute. What about Loosefoot? Where's he?
Ran on ahead, I guess. He was the fastest. And the trail's easy marked.
So we haven't seen him because he's probably already crossed this bridge. Probably clear up at the house by now.
But George, Tom is down there with Henry.
Sure, with Henry. Don't you see, Angel? Tom wanted to know who killed his dog and sawed the bridge. That was the reason for the phony telegrams, this whole shindig. It was to get all the vultures up here and see which one of them wouldn't walk across the bridge.
Henry.
And 5 minutes ago, Tom discovered who was guilty.
Well, hurry up.
Yeah, but quietly. Because now it's all backwards. Now the question is what Tom intends to do to Henry.
There they are.
And they're not moving toward the house, not moving at all.
Tom's got a gun, George. He's hanging onto Henry's arm. Even a blind man could shoot somebody as long as he had a...
Come on, around this way. Look out.
Well, come back, did you?
Get down here, Mr. Valentine. This crazy...
Shut up, dog killer. You'll get your chance to...
Answer, Angel. Around the rock here. Yeah, that's right. Now, come on.
He's crazy. You're both crazy.
Everybody comes pestering me. Well, it's going to stop once for all. Sure, he killed Flannery. Flannery's another pest, snooping around the same day he was.
Let go of me. Let go of me. Get your hand
Oh,
off.
no, you don't. You move. The gun goes off.
Okay, Tom, I'm here now, right beside you. You can hand me that gun.
Huh?
George, you let go. He just let go.
Look out. I'll get him.
Give me that gun, I said.
Where are you? Where is he?
No, you don't.
Detectives. Knocking my
The
gun
sheriff
out.
will get him, don't worry. I just got an idea. It might be good to save you from dying for a while, Tom.
Man's dying from the day he's born.
Oh, sure. Honest Tom. Rugged independent. And I hate that guy, but shooting him while escaping might not go down so well with a jury.
Just shooting wild. I couldn't actually... Well, would have been just blind luck if I hit him, I mean.
Oh, sure, Tom. Be careful what you say. Don't want to tell a lie. Only honest man left in the West.
Yep, that's me.
Don't want to admit you might be a dead shot. Don't want to say right out you're blind. Even though that's how you sucker these people into coming after you.
But, George, he said...
Ain't a lie if a man always talks like he had to hear people to recognize him, is it? Ain't a lie to stumble around the few times you seen, is it?
Buster, you take the cake. Honest as the day is short. Sure, we all jump to conclusions, all right. Because I guess there's no law against a man with good eyesight owning a seeing-eye dog.
Listen. Music. Don't like it. People. Don't like them.
Well, you can leave for the castle pretty soon, Tom. Taking down your cousin Henry's confession now.
Worthless bunch of vultures. Won't be pestered anymore.
Sure, Tom. You've got your privacy.
You know, we did stop you from doing the one thing that really would have been wrong.
Do I appreciate it? Obligations ain't for me, young lady.
Well, the reason people pester you is because of your gold. And I thought maybe you'd tell us, but...
Tell you a secret. Sure, I got barbed wire and fences. But I never actually said I have gold, did I?
What? Oh, for the love... Oh, George, come on, let's get out of here.
Jump on conclusions, like everybody else.
Oh, that awful man. George, I want to go out someplace and go dancing and forget about it.
Okay, spend my gold.
Well, at least I know you haven't got any.
I'll tell you something that'll worry you for years. You notice? Tom didn't say he didn't have any either.
Listen to the difference. In a few seconds, you'll hear Geiger counters measuring automobile engine wear. The engines are equipped with irradiated piston rings, which make it possible for the Geiger counters to detect wear as it occurs. You will hear authentic scientific proof that new RPM motor oil cuts in half the wear rate of critical engine parts, doubles the life of the average auto engine between major overhauls due to lubrication. First, let's listen to the Geiger counter slowly click off the low wear rate of new RPM. Now, the much faster wear rate of a premium type oil, as designated by the American Petroleum Institute. Now, new RPM again. You have just heard Geiger counters clicking off the scientific proof that new RPM motor oil is years ahead.
Yes, years ahead. New RPM doubles engine life between major overhauls due to lubrication. Try it. Sold with a money-back guarantee of satisfaction at independent Chevron gas stations and standard stations, where they say and mean, we take better care of your car. Tonight's adventure of George Valentine has been brought to you by Standard Oil Company of California on behalf of independent Chevron gas stations and Standard stations throughout the West. Robert Bailey is starred as George with Virginia Gregg as Brooksy. Let George Do It is written by David Victor and Jackson Gillis and directed by Don Clark. Herb Butterfield was heard as Tioga Tom, Marjorie Bennett as Mrs. Carmichael, Joe Forte as Flannery, Tim Graham as Henry, Herb Vigran as Loosefoot, Victor Rodman, the conductor, and Charlie Lung, Po Sing. The music is composed and presented by Eddie Dunstetter. Your announcer, John Heaston. Listen again next week, same time, same station, to Let George Do It. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, I guess a great illustration of how you can give a false impression without ever speaking a false word. I wouldn't necessarily call that honest. In fact, I'd call it deceptive. But certainly one of the more interesting characters we've run across on Let George Do It, and some really nice twist along the end. Of course, having heard the episode with the blind man firing a shot, a year or so back, that kind of, that when Brooksy referenced that, I was kind of like, yeah, you'd be very well aware of that, and so would George Valentine. I should mention that there was a 2-week gap between this week's episode and last week's, but that's just because we played last week's episode, which aired on around Thanksgiving time here. All right, well, that will do it for today. We will be back tomorrow with, one thing first. I did want to announce we added another show to the list of programs we're going to eventually do, and that is Mystery Theater, featuring the character of Mark Saber. So that's been added to the list, and will be available for those of you with the app and the premium side. All right, well, now that will seriously do it for today. Send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Well, our listener support campaign continues, and thank you to everybody who's given so far. If you've not already, I encourage you to go to support.greatdetectives.net. As usual, all donations of $7 or more receive access to our premium site. At the $10 or at the $20 level, we will provide, as a thank you, a copy of a Colonial Radio Theater play, and the available programs include Perry Mason, Zorro and the Pirate Raiders, and Gettysburg. And at the $50 level, we have an autographed copy of Tales of the Dim Night available to those in the U.S. and Canada. And a whole list of other items available. Go to support.greatdetectives.net. Special thank you to Daniel, who sent along a donation. Thank you so much for your support, Daniel. And now it's time for today's episode of Sherlock Holmes. This one is called The Adventure of the Serpent God.
From New York City, the makers of Clipper Craft Clothes for Men and 1,036 leading retail stores from coast to coast present the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Tonight's story, The Adventure of the Serpent God. And so here we are once again in Dr. Watson's cheerful book-lined study. But let's not keep our Sherlock Holmes fans waiting. What's tonight's adventure to be, Doctor?
Tonight, I think I'll tell you how Holmes prevented a bloodthirsty Hindu uprising. It all occurred because we unearthed the meeting place of an East Indian cult who worshipped the Serpent God.
Sounds promising.
Yes, it was a weird and unearthly setting for one of our most hair-raising encounters with that arch-criminal, the notorious Professor Moriarty.
Professor Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes always got a run for his money when he matched wits with Professor Moriarty. And that reminds me, if any of our friends and listeners are thinking of investing in a new spring suit or overcoat, I think we can safely promise them more than a run for their money if they'll take a look at the clothes that Clippercraft is now showing in their favorite local store.
Right you are, Mr. Harris.
And you'll get something else very important from the great Clippercraft plan, besides remarkable quality and downright sensational value. You get uniformity. The assurance that every Clippercraft suit, top coat, or sport jacket you buy is equal to all the others in smart appearance and performance. As you know, the Clippercraft plan concentrates the buying power of 1,036 of the nation's finest stores from coast to coast. Its operation is year-round, resulting in tremendous economies in manufacturing and distribution costs. And that's how you get fine-fitting, beautifully tailored, expensive-looking Clippercraft suits for only $40 and $45. Outstanding top coats in fine coverts and worsted gabardine for only $40 and $45. And smart sport jackets for only $26.50. Take a look around. Compare Clippercraft with clothes selling for many dollars more. And now, Dr. Watson, back to Professor Moriarty and the adventure of the Serpent God.
Yes, Mr. Harris. It was latish one May evening in the early 1900s. I had been out on an emergency case and was returning in the soft spring twilight. As I reached 221B Baker Street, I looked up to see a light in the windows of our sitting room. Holmes' long, lank silhouette was pacing back and forth in the lamplight. From the nervous vitality of his movements, I gathered he was working on a new case. I let myself in the front door and bounded up the steps.
You what, Doctor?
Well, I hurried upstairs. Evening, Holmes. What's up?
A case, Watson. I'm expecting word from our latest client. Now, don't remove your hat and gloves. From his note, I gather he'll want us to go to him at once.
Oh, then it's urgent.
I suspect it's more than urgent, Watson. The stability of the Empire may well depend on our efforts tonight.
Oh, now, really, Holmes.
I'm not exaggerating, Watson. I leave that to you. However, I don't think anyone will underrate the unrest that's seething in India these days. The slightest spark may set off an explosion.
Granted, but how does that affect us?
As a matter of fact, my friend Hockey, you remember young Wells Hartrider of the Foreign Office?
Naturally. He's the one who always looked as if he'd just swallowed his monocle.
Don't let that air of fatuous imbecility fool you, Watson. Hiding behind that simple facade is one of the most alert brains in England. Not counting my own, of course.
Oh, conceit.
That's why he's been assigned to the Maharaja.
He'll have his hands full. Those East Indian potentates are a slippery lot. I wouldn't trust one around a corner with my second-best stethoscope.
Prejudice, Watson, pure prejudice. I met this one several years ago at the Royal Garden Party. Rather decent sort. We've corresponded ever since.
Holmes, you're wonderful. You know everything and everybody. Tell me about your Raja. Which one is he?
He's the Maharaja of Banjoram, a small, warlike mountain kingdom in the north of India.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
You've undoubtedly heard of the Banjoram stables. The Maharaja is interested in racehorses and higher education. He leads a rather quiet life in his villa outside of Paris, where the famous professors from the Sorbonne come to give him advanced lectures in private.
Sounds placid enough.
Quite. His life, I may say, was completely serene and uninteresting until his heir came to visit him.
Well, nothing abnormal about that. Sons frequently upset the even tenor of their father's ways.
Oh, but Prince Jinnah is not the Maharaja's son. He's his half-brother. Different mothers and all that, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't until it became apparent that the Maharaja would never have a son of his own that anyone took any interest in this boy at all. I don't believe the Maharaja had even met him until he sent for him last autumn. He suddenly decided it was high time the lad became exposed to a British education.
Oh, poor devil. Imagine being suddenly chucked into the midst of an English public school after being pampered darling of a high-caste Indian household.
The Maharaja of Banjoram has some sense, Watson. He did not chuck him into a school, as you so inelegantly express it. He decided to break the boy in with a good tutor. Upon explaining his position to the Foreign Office, they decided the situation was sufficiently important to assign young Wells Hartrider to the post.
As the twig is bent.
Exactly. The Maharaja of Banjoram has always been quite well disposed toward our government. Unfortunately, that's more than can be said for some of the gentlemen who have managed to ease their way into high positions in his country.
How did the Maharaja and his young half-brother get along?
Very well indeed. That is, until 3 weeks ago, when Hartrider and the young prince had their first encounter with the dark-faced man with burning eyes. It was shortly after tea time. Harky and the prince were just emerging from the Strand entrance of the Savoy Hotel, where they have a suite of rooms. Suddenly, a strange, ragged-looking man seized the prince and pressed his forehead to the back of the boy's hand.
Salutations, O true son of the father of all lizards. You followers await you. For you the god will speak. Do not fail him. Do not fail.
Who was that man, Gina?
I do not know, Mr. Harkrider. But you saw his eyes and his head. It moved from side to side like a great snake.
What's the matter, boy? You're trembling. Your hands are as cold as ice. Your hand. What is that mark on the back of your hand?
Aye! It is the sign.
Ever since then, Watson, the boy's been a nervous wreck. Harkrider says he looks positively haunted. Then, the night after the boy's encounter with a strange derelict, Harkrider woke in the night and found him missing from his bed.
Why not ask for police protection?
The Maharaja forbids it. Harkrider drew him the design he'd seen on the back of the boy's hand. The Maharaja apparently recognized its significance, but will tell Harkrider nothing. He says calling in the British authorities might very well cause another black hole of Calcutta.
Good Lord, Holmes, then it is serious.
That, my dear Watson, is the impression I've been trying to convey for the last half hour.
Did Harkrider's message explain what the symbol on the boy's hand looked like?
Yes. It's drawn here at the bottom of his letter.
A simple bit of cacography. Looks rather like the eye part of the large hook and eye.
It's not as innocent as that, Watson. It's the same mark that appears on the hood of the king cobra. In India, that's the symbol of the serpent god.
By Jove, I see what you mean, Holmes. Then you think the boy may be mixed up in some diabolical East Indian cult.
I fancy the mystery's even uglier than that. You remember the description of the beggar who left the symbol on the boy's hand?
Mm-hmm.
The burning eyes, the head that oscillated slowly from side to side.
Good heavens, that could be a description of Professor Moriarty. Oh, but you said his skin was dark.
There are many stains, Watson, that can be used to color a man's skin.
But why have they waited till now to call you in on the case? What makes you think Harkrider will be around tonight?
This little figurine. Beautifully carved, isn't it?
Oh, a fascinating bit of ugliness. The body of a man and the head of a cobra.
The cobra god again. It seems this carving was found on Prince Jinnah's bed when he returned from his afternoon's walk. Harkrider said the boy fainted dead away when he saw it.
Sounds sinister, eh, Holmes?
Harkrider told the Maharaja about the occurrence, of course. The Maharaja seems to think this figure's some sort of summons. He believes the boy will try to disappear again tonight. Consequently, Harkrider's sending a cab for us as soon as the boy retires. We're to pick him up at the embankment exit of the Savoy. Yes, I hear a carriage driving up to our curb. Don't forget your revolver, Watson. Aha! The game's afoot. The chase begins.
Holmes, we've been sitting out here in this blasted cab for over an hour. What's happened to Harkrider? What if the boy slipped out to the other entrance?
Calm yourself, Watson. Harkrider's stationed behind some potted palms in the lobby inside, where he can watch both doors.
And what if the boy decides to stay quietly in his little bed? I say, Holmes, that's the third time that policeman has flashed his lantern at us. First thing you know, he'll be asking some embarrassing questions.
Well, don't answer them. Just pretend we're gentlemen in from the country who've had a bit of a celebration and are sitting in the cab because we like horses.
Oh, Holmes, you're the most Hello. There's a slight figure coming through the doorway now. Yes, it must be the young prince.
He's hailing a cab. Get ready, driver.
There goes his cab, Holmes. Well, what are we waiting for?
For Harky, confound him. Here he comes on the run. Open the door, Watson. We'll pick him up as we go. Follow that cab, driver. There's a $5 in it for you if you don't let him out of your sight.
confound this fog. It's getting so thick we can't see the cab up ahead.
Calm yourself, Hog Rider. They can't go any faster than we can. As long as we can hear their horses' hooves, they can't get away from us.
We must be near the river, Holmes. Hear those foghorns?
Yes, we've just passed London docks, to be exact, my dear Watson.
How do you know? Don't tell me you can see any further through this pea souper than I can.
Possibly not, Watson, but I can smell. The warehouses here contain the most varied and fascinating cargoes in the whole port. Wines, hides, rubber, drugs, iodine, coffee, spices, cocoa, quicksilver, to mention just a handful. On our left, we should be approaching Wapping Old Stairs. If you listen carefully, you can hear the lapping of the water.
Not with that thing blatting away, you can't.
I say, what do you suppose that boy is headed for in this district?
Has it ever occurred to you, Harkrider, how many Lascars and Hindus are employed in the docks in this part of London?
Oh, funny, I'd forgotten that. As a matter of fact, I'd almost forgotten London had a port.
Most Londoners do. Ask the average Englishman what's the largest port in the United Kingdom, and chances are he'll answer Liverpool or Plymouth or Southampton.
Well, aren't they?
My dear Watson, the exports and imports of the Port of London more than equal in value any two of them combined.
What's up? We're stopping. Well, no, we're going on.
We've turned into Tunnel Pier Road.
Well, how can you tell that?
By the rumbling of the trains going through the tunnel.
I can't hear a blasted thing.
Neither can I, but I can feel them. So could you if your senses were properly developed. Yes, near here used to be the site of Execution Dock, where Captain Kidd and other pirates were hanged in chains at low water and left for 3 tides.
Holmes, if you must give us a cook's tour of the district, couldn't you pick some cheerful items to lecture about?
The carriage ahead stopped. Wait here, driver. Out you go, Watson.
Mm.
You too, Harkrider.
Righto.
Yes. There's the boy up ahead. He's feeling his way along the wall. He stopped.
He is tapping out some kind of signal on the wall.
By Jove. I see the wall is opening. I saw no sign of a doorway. Now it's closing after him. But it works mechanically.
Quick, Watson. Don't let it shut. It's our one chance to follow the boy. Stick your foot in the crack. Hurry.
Oh!
Now what?
I did as you told me. The blasted door's killing me.
Harkrider, take the cab and go back to the Savoy and get the Maharaja of Banjoram. Bring him here.
Shall I fetch a platoon of police as well, just in case?
I don't imagine he'll let you. Here, make a mark on the wall so you can find the door again.
Done.
Now then, Watson, slip inside the door.
Right.
Quick, before the guard finds it's not closed. Hurry back, Harkrider.
Chin up, Holmes. Be back in a jiffy.
Seems to be some sort of courtyard with carved walls. Weird, grotesque carvings. Holmes, they look horrible in the light of that flickering lantern up ahead.
Those carvings represent East Indian deities. As you say, Watson, they are not nice.
Look, Holmes. A tall man in a fierce beard and wearing a turban has stepped into the light of the lantern.
Yes. He'll be a Sikh. Very warlike tribe, Watson. I imagine he's on sentry duty. There must be an entrance through that archway.
What of it? We'll never get by him. I only hope he doesn't discover us.
Right. I don't think he'd hesitate to use that large knife he has sticking in his belt.
I say, what's that?
Another customer's arrived at the door in the wall, I imagine. Yes. Here comes the sentry to let him in.
What can we do? He'll find us.
No, there's an empty niche above our heads. Step on my hands, Watson. Right. Up you go. Now, give me your hand.
Heave-ho! But won't he see us up here?
I don't think so. It's a well-established fact that a man seldom looks above his head. Yes. Here he comes. Pretend to be a statue. Look grotesque. It shouldn't be too difficult.
Phew. He's gone on by. I didn't dare breathe.
Here's our chance to find out what's beyond the archway. Quick, we'll have to run for it while he's still busy at the outer door.
And so while our two friends are trying to sneak past the guard, let's discuss your spring wardrobe. Will it be comfortable? Will it wear? Is it good looking? Well, naturally, these questions are on your mind when you buy a new suit or topcoat. The same questions Clippercraft asked themselves long ago and answered by bringing you the finest values you've ever seen at an outstanding local independent store. Clippercraft invented the unique Clippercraft plan that concentrates the buying power of 1,036 stores across the nation. Now, the plan's the reason for those amazing values which are yours, even in this era of high prices. Clippercraft suits that look much more costly for only $40 and $45. Top coats and fine coverts and worsted gabardine at only $40 and $45, and sport jackets at only $26.50. Yes, selling expensive clothes at inexpensive low prices at the nation's finest independent stores is the great big idea behind the Clippercraft plan. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes. So be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suit, topcoat, and overcoat. In Manhattan, John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
And now back to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, who have managed to sneak inside the unguarded doorway.
Good Lord Holmes, it's a great heathen temple in the heart of London. The incense is almost as thick as the fog outside. There must be hundreds of people in here, all bowing before that horrible idol.
More than horrible, Watson. It's the Serpent God, servant of Shiva, the destroyer.
Now what?
I don't know. Here, hide behind this wall curtain.
Holmes, here comes the priest or magician or whatever they call him. He's even uglier than the statue of the god.
That is the Guru, Watson. It's a mask he's wearing. Aha! Notice how his head moves from side to side. We shall soon know, Watson. We shall soon know.
Look, there's the boy. He's approaching the priest. Holmes, what's wrong with him? He walks as if he'd been hypnotized.
Quiet, Watson. The Guru is going to speak.
Son of sons, you've done well to come. I speak for the Great One, our Lord of the Cobras. I say to you that you are doomed.
That's Moriarty's voice right enough.
Your youth will fade, your limbs wither, your mind shrivel and decay, and your soul be damned to eternal torment unless you heed my words. Heed and obey. You are to kill!
No, no!
It is so decreed. Tonight you shall hear what you must do from the Great One himself. You are honored above all men. The Lord of Serpents will speak to you. Bow down and listen.
Holmes, he's going to make the idol talk.
Jinnah is chosen, but first the throne must be purified. He will kill the Maharaja, his brother, and rule in his place. The temples of the god have been profaned. They can be cleansed only with blood, rivers of blood, the blood of all white people who live in Banjoram.
Holmes, this is outrageous. How do they make the idol say such horrible things?
It's Moriarty. When he bows to the ground, he puts his mouth to a sort of grillwork. Unless I'm very much mistaken, it hides a speaking tube.
But what does he expect to gain by all this hocus-pocus?
Quiet, Watson. He's getting ready to speak again in his own voice.
When you are on the throne, O son of the serpent, you will need advice and wise counsel. The god of the cobras has spoken to me in the night. He has appointed me to be your advisor.
Now we come to the point of the argument.
Holmes, we must warn the Maharaja.
We can't leave now, Watson. We shall have to wait until everyone else is gone.
What's that for?
Now let the music call the great ones. The cobras, let them come from their hiding places. They shall dance for their new king.
Holmes, they have cobras, live cobras in this place. Look, they're coming out those little windows along the wall near the floor. How perfectly vile. Look at them writhing and swaying to the music.
Steady, Watson, steady.
Holmes, we're standing in front of one of those little windows. There's something crawling over my foot.
Stand perfectly still, don't move.
It's turned. It's raising its head.
Lose your nerve, Watson. Don't.
Got it! Shot its filthy head off.
Who's there? There are spies! Behind that curtain, capture them!
We're in for it this time, Watson. Give me your revolver. I'll stand them off as long as possible.
Holmes, where are you?
Over here, Watson. Tied hand and foot.
It's as black as pitch in here. If only Harkrider would get back, he might be able to help us. Seems as if he's been gone for hours. Holmes, you don't suppose he's lost his way in the fog?
That, my dear Watson, is an unfortunate possibility. Seems we're about to have a visitor, Watson.
We meet for the last time, Sherlock Holmes. Once more you have been foolish enough to meddle in my plans. This time, I think, will be the last.
Such a pity, Moriarty. You're going to miss our little passages at arms.
Possibly, but you have made too great a nuisance of yourself lately, my dear adversary. In a very little while I shall leave you and take my place again before the image of the Serpent God, which is just above this little room. Then 4 slaves will come. They will carry you before the altar for the final rites. It will soon be over. First, Dr. Watson shall be sacrificed to the image. You shall watch him die, Holmes. And then...
You devil, you inhuman fiend, you...
You do not approve my plans. So sorry. Listen. Here come the men to carry you to the temple. First, the fat one. Place him on the ground. Now bring the box of cobras.
It's all my fault, Holmes.
Chin up, Watson.
Holmes! Something's happening to the door. They're breaking it down.
Where are the guards? Who dares to enter here?
Give way, you fools! Give way for His Highness the Maharaja!
Holmes is Harkrider and the old boy himself.
Even the Maharaja does not dare interfere with the servants of the Serpent God.
You are wrong, O father of unclean lizards. If you were a real serpent of your cobra gods, you'd know that I am the earthly arm, the voice and the will of the God who rules your gods, the most terrible of all. See here his ring on my hand. I am the earthly representative of Shiva, the destroyer. Get up from your faces, you fools. Release those 2 men. And seize this other, who is no holy man of India. Seize here his skin, while I tear away his garments. He is a white man and a criminal.
You think I have no way of escape? Then watch.
Moriarty! He's gone. He had a secret door at the base of the idol.
After him, all of you!
I say, do you think they'll catch him?
Oh, possibly not, but I must say I'm tremendously grateful that you've shown the faker up and demonstrated to Jinnah here how easily one can be led astray by superstition and ignorance. But enough of that. Harkrider, get out your pocket knife and help me to free our friend.
Righto.
You have to forgive me, Watson, old boy, but trussed up like that, you remind me of that night of our first year at school when the boys in the upper form decided to have a bit of a rag.
Good Lord, you're not... But of course you are. Banjo. Dear old Banjo. Well, I mean, Your Highness.
Oh, not to my friends, Johnny.
Tell me, Banjorum, are you really the arm of Shiva and all that sort of thing, or or was that just plain swank?
Not at all, my dear Watson. In His Highness's kingdom in India, his people are convinced he's partially supernatural.
Oh, it's rather tedious, you know, and quite frequently lonely. That's why I sent for this young scallywag to come and visit me. Come along now, Jenner. There's no need to be frightened now, you know.
Oh, I was not going to kill you, sir. No matter what they did to me. Really, I wasn't.
Of course you weren't. Come along home. It's way past your bedtime.
Yes, right. Pleasant dreams, Prince Jenner. I fancy it'll be the first good night's sleep you've had for some time.
It will indeed, sir. I've been under a bit of a strain, but it was worth it. To meet the famous Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Wow, that was a narrow squeak, Dr. Watson. My hair fairly stood on end.
Good for you, Mr. Harris. Glad I held your interest.
You did that. And now, how about just a hint about next week's story, Dr. Watson?
Next week, I think I'll tell how I learned a great deal about the ancient sport of archery. In it, Holmes solved a murder in which the weapon was a rather unusual golden arrow. He solved it, I may say, by catching the murderer literally red-handed.
The makers of Clipper Craft Clothes and 1,036 leading stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character of Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes is played by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by Alfred Shirley, and the dramatizations are by Edith Meiser. Sherlock Holmes is produced and directed by Basil Lochran, with special music by Albert Berman. If you don't know your Clippercraft dealer, write Clippercraft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Once again, it's your privilege to aid in the increasing fight against suffering, disease, and disaster. Once again, your American Red Cross confidently appeals to American generosity to support its humane work. This year, then, give a little more, because the need is greater. Be sure to listen next Sunday to Sherlock Holmes in Death is a Golden Arrow. Speaking for Clippercraft Clothes, this is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Welcome back. Well, I have to give it to Watson. That was one of their spookier tales. I think there's no end to the amount of things that writers can come up for Professor Moriarty to do. And as always, I'm continually struck by the sort of research that goes into this. All right, well, now we turn to listener comments and feedback. Karen says, I love Sherlock Holmes. And Stephen adds in, can't get enough of Sherlock Holmes, love every one of his adventures. Well, thanks so much, and I'm glad we've had the opportunity to bring you so many of his adventures that are not usually heard or seen, so... All right, well, that will do it for today. Join us tomorrow, Friday. It's yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Well, we're moving into the last 2 days of our listener support campaign. I want to thank everyone who supported us so far, because we had something else coming up. We actually haven't recorded. We recorded the shows we normally record on Tuesday. On Monday, so I haven't recorded an episode of Great Detectives in about 3 days, so I've got to get caught up a little bit on my thank yous to those who supported our listener support campaign. Well, here's what we want to say thank you to Karen, to David, to Michael, and to Kelly, and thank you so much for your donations and for your support, and during the listener support campaign, which just runs through tomorrow's, donations need to be sent to us by PayPal by tomorrow. Or if you put it in the mail, it's got to be postmarked by tomorrow. And if you want our mailing address, send it to Box 13 at greatdetectives.net. But during our listener support campaign, in addition to access to our premium site, we provide some extra bonuses at the mainly in the form of audio and video downloads. At the $20 level, we have your choice of a Colonial Radio Theater program, such as Father Brown or Perry Mason. Harry sent in a donation and requested Perry Mason in the case of the Sulky Girl, and we're sending along that adaptation from the Colonial Radio Theater. At the $50 level, you can get an autographed copy of Tales of the Dim Night if you're in the U.S. and Canada. Or like Karen, you can take a Poirot BBC mystery, and they've done several audio dramas. We won't be able to bring them here because they're copyrighted, but we're able to buy them and send them out through Audible, and we'll be sending her Five Little Pigs. And that's my absolute favorite Poirot radio drama. And then at the $100 level, we have a Radio Archives gift certificate for that's good for digital download of any of the great radio sets they have, including they've got some Philip Marlowe sets, Fibber McGee and Molly, soap operas, Railroad Hour, one of my favorite non-detective radio shows. A full list is available, support.greatdetectives.net. All right, well now, a couple of notes here before we get into today's episode of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. For clarification, I think I may have said something last week to the effect that that week's episode was the last rehearsal of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. I should say it's the last one that's recorded by old-time radio researchers as being a rehearsal. What I learned this week is that there are other rehearsal recordings that aren't labeled as such. So, such is the case with today's episode. But you can't tell us a rehearsal too much, except in the middle, but just to let you know what's going on. Audio quality is not the greatest, but I found it able to follow anyway. So, with those disclaimers, here now is the Blackmail matter.
Spearmint Chewing Gum, the refreshing, delicious treat that gives you chewing enjoyment, presents for your listening enjoyment John Lund as
Johnny Dollar.
Philip Shaw, Johnny.
Oh, fine. What have you got for me?
Mr. Dale Martin is insured with National. He owns a gym, one of those bodybuilding places. Man was killed there.
When did it happen?
This morning, about an hour ago. Now, we don't know if it's an accident or not. The police are over there now.
Anything to work on?
Nothing. That's why I called you. Better get over there right away.
I'll do it, but I don't take off my shirt.
The makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum bring you John Lund in a transcribed adventure of a man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum refreshes you. Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum gives you real chewing enjoyment. Yes, for chewing enjoyment plus refreshment, it's Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. The lively, delicious flavor of Wrigley's Spearmint cools your mouth, helps keep your throat moist, and gives you a nice little lift. The good, smooth chewing of Wrigley's Spearmint helps keep you feeling fresh and alert, adds enjoyment to whatever you're doing. So for chewing enjoyment plus refreshment, treat yourself often to Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Home Office, National All Risk Insurance Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Blackmail matter. Expense account item 1, $1.40. Cab fare and tip for ride from my office to Martin's gym. After receiving what little information there was from you by phone, I arrived at 1215 at 1084 6th Avenue in the heart of downtown. On the second floor, I found Dale Martin, a very nervous Adonis, seated at a desk in his office. A policeman at the door informed me that a Lieutenant Nathan of the homicide detail had stepped out for a minute and the coroner was expected soon. Mr. Martin?
Yeah?
I'm Johnny Dollar from the National Insurance Company.
Oh, that's the outfit I'm insured with.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm here. I want to get the facts in case there's any claim. Now, tell me, what happened?
I don't know. I went back to the locker room to check on the towels, and I found him lying on the floor.
Found who?
His name's Royal. Frederick Royal. He's been coming up here for over a year.
Well, why did you call the police and not a doctor?
Because I think he was murdered.
Why murdered?
I've seen a lot of accidents around this gym, but never saw anything like this. It wasn't an accident.
What makes you so sure?
Well, it looked like his neck was broken. I don't know how it happened, so I called the police. That publicity's going to ruin what little business I have.
Murder always ruins something. You got any idea who might have done it?
No.
Who was in the place when you discovered the body?
My 3 assistants and 3 fellas working out.
They all still here?
Yeah, all of them.
Nobody else left or came in?
Just the cops. But business is real slow.
Does everybody know about it?
No, I took the body and put it back in the rub-down room. Haven't even told my boys.
Well, the officer at the door won't let anybody leave, so let's have a look at the body and see what we can find out. Martin left one of his boys to answer the phone, and everyone else was keeping busy wrestling with weights as he led me through the locker room. So one man was taking a shower. At the end of the room, he unlocked the door, and we walked in. The smell of rubbing alcohol was strong enough to give you a hangover. There were white curtains separating 2 rubbing tables. The first one was empty.
In back of that curtain, Mr. Dollar.
Okay.
Not very pretty.
Mm-mm. Circus rubber man would need vulcanizing if he turned his head that far. Busted neck, all right.
I wish the coroner would get in and take him away. It hurts me seeing his head hanging like that.
Why don't you move him?
Oh, no, sir, not me. I caught a good from Lieutenant for moving him in here.
Well, don't worry about Mr. Royal. He can't feel a thing. Lieutenant Nathan arrived with the coroner, and the latter confirmed our diagnosis. Nathan had Martin keep his clients and assistant muscle men busy. They started comparing biceps and forgot anybody else was there. Nathan was an old friend, so I didn't have to convince him that I was there on business.
You saw the corpse, Dollar?
Yeah, it took a pair of pretty strong hands to do a job like that.
Yeah, that makes everybody around here a suspect.
Got any ideas?
Yeah, you'd have to know a man pretty well to let him get that close to you without starting something.
Yeah, somebody could have been rubbing a kink out of his neck and got carried away with his work.
Yeah.
Why don't we start asking some questions?
I'll go out and round up everybody. Might as well start at the beginning.
Nathan herded everyone together, and the questioning started. The men were very unhappy. This bad publicity that couldn't be helped. Mr. Robert Wells, songwriter, Mr. Michael Darling, car salesman, and the third and last, Mr. Patrick Mullins, jeweler. 3 prosperous men, 3 prosperous denials. The assistants came next, the 3 men who worked for Martin. First, Bernie Carroll, the man who'd instructed Fred Royal, the one who'd put him through his exercises and sent him in to take a shower before he cooled off and got stiff.
Sure. I worked him out and sent him in the shower like always. We tell him to take a good long hot shower to relax the muscles. Isn't that right, Gale?
That's right, Lieutenant. That's the way it works. Bernie left him, went over to start on Mr. Wells. Bernie's a pretty strong boy. Yeah. Any one of us could have gone to the locker room at one time or another, Lieutenant. You found, didn't you, Mr. Martin? Yeah. Why did you happen to go back to the locker room at that particular time? I do it every day, checking a towel, soap, see that everybody has everything he needs.
Question after question, trying to nail down alibis, trying to make them stick or tear them apart. According to everybody so far, it was a big mystery. Next man, Jack Olson.
Yeah, I went back by the locker room several times.
Why?
Well, there's an electric coffee maker on a table against the wall back there. I wanted to get some coffee.
Mm-hmm. The other times?
Well, once to look at the appointment board and see what's coming in, later to get some chalk for my hands.
Chalk for your hands?
Yeah. Keeps your hands from perspiring and making blisters, when you're working with heavy weight.
You're fairly new here, aren't you, Jack?
3 weeks.
How'd you know that, Dollar?
Well, the other boys all have heavy calluses. They don't use chalk.
You know quite a bit about this weightlifting stuff, huh?
Oh, sure. I used to lift candy bars when I was a kid.
All right. Call him the last one.
The last man, Johnny Morgan, and his story was no different than the others. Yes, he'd walked back past the locker room. No, he had not slipped in and popped Mr. Royal's neck while he was preparing to take his shower. The coroner removed the body, and all the rest went down to the precinct to sign formal statements. They were all released and sent home, pending further investigation. I hailed a cab and rode home with Dale Martin.
Would you like some apple or carrot juice?
Well, I'll try anything once.
Good for you.
Yeah, I figured that. You didn't kill him, did you, Martin?
Don't be silly. He was the best customer I had. I wouldn't kill off my business. Here.
Thanks.
You have any ideas, Don?
Nope. How long did you say Fred Royal had been coming to your gym?
Over a year.
What do you know about him?
Not much. He was a wolf, like the girls. Always talking about the gal he was out with the night before. I got tired of his gal. I put him straight.
You know what business he was in?
No, whatever it was, he had a lot of money. Wore a new suit every time he came around. Oh, excuse me.
Hello?
Oh, just for you, darling.
Oh, thanks.
Give me a level on Howard, will you? All right, don't fade off as much higher then.
All right. I'll take it from the top. I lost up a line anyway.
Try it again now. That's it. Just copy level. Okay, from line 15, please.
Whatever it was, he had a lot of money. Wore a new suit every time he came around. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Oh, just a minute. For you, darling.
Oh, thanks. Hello?
I got something on the dead man. Got a record. Blackmail.
You know where he lived?
We're checking.
Oh, wait a minute. Martin, you wouldn't by any chance know where Fred Royal lived, would you?
Well, it's billed to him every month. I got my books here in the apartment. I'll get your address.
All right, then. Martin's got his address.
I found something else in his personal effects. Key to a safety deposit box. The boys are checking to see which bank.
Here's the address, Dollar. Fred Royal, 673 East Weeping Willow Circle.
I told Nathan I'd meet him at Royal's place. I downed my liquefied carrots, said goodbye to Martin. Half an hour later, the lieutenant and yours truly, Johnny Dollar, were tearing Mr. Fred Royal's apartment to pieces.
Nothing.
Yeah, I came up empty, too.
Hey,
What's the matter?
here's a date book.
Good. Maybe we've been working on a holiday.
See, here's a name, Barbara Carroll.
Carroll. That's the name of one of Martin's muscle trainers, Bernie Carroll.
The same name as some of the other pages. The 5th, Barbara, 6 o'clock. Again on the 2nd, Barbara, 8 o'clock. Again on the 28th and 22nd.
Wonder if there's any connection.
Oh, might be his sister. Let's give it a try. Bernie and Barbara Carroll. Sounds like something they play at the Palace.
Well, let's go see their act.
Here's the apartment. They live with that new fellow.
Jack Olson.
Yeah, you're the quiet one. Police.
Yes?
I'm Lieutenant Nathan, homicide. This is Johnny Dollar.
How you doing?
How do you do?
We'd like to talk to you, Miss Carroll.
Certainly, Lieutenant. Come in.
Thank you.
I was just making some lemonade. Would you like some?
Yeah, thanks. It is pretty hot out.
Maybe you'd like something stronger.
No, thanks. The lieutenant's on duty.
I guess you've heard about the accident.
You want your lemonade sweet, Lieutenant?
Medium, please.
Here you are.
Oh, thank you. Your brother didn't mention anything about your going out with Royal.
He was probably protecting his little sister.
The lieutenant found your name written in Royal's date book.
I've been out with him 6 or 7 times.
You know what his business was?
He never discussed it.
Did you ever meet any of his friends?
No.
Did he ever mention any of the other fellows at the gym?
At Jim? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Jack Olson lives here, doesn't he?
That's right.
Whose picture is that on the piano?
Oh, it's Jack's father.
You don't have any idea why anyone would want to kill Royal, do you?
No.
How did Jack Olson happen to move in here with you and your brother?
Bernie asked him to. When he went to work for Martin, he was living in a terrible place. One small room. I told Bernie he could move in here if he shared the rent.
Mm-hmm. How well did Olson know Royal?
He'd seen him at the gym. Seen him here when he came to pick me up.
Where's Olson now?
Working, I think.
Well, thanks, Miss Carroll. We'll be talking to you again.
More lemonade?
Later, maybe, Miss Carroll.
Friends, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you'll enjoy chewing Wrigley's Spearmint Gum. Chew Wrigley's Spearmint while you're working. The lively, full-bodied flavor of Wrigley's Spearmint gives you a refreshing little lift. The smooth, pleasant chewing of Wrigley's Spearmint Gum helps keep you feeling relaxed and satisfied. Makes your job seem easier. Chew Wrigley's Spearmint Gum in your home, when you're out walking or driving, when you're enjoying sports and other activities. Wrigley's Spearmint Gum tastes good anytime, and the natural chewing aids digestion and helps keep your teeth bright and attractive. Yes, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you'll enjoy chewing Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious. And now, with our star, John Lund, we bring you the second act of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar.
Three in the afternoon. Out of Barbara Carroll's cool apartment and down the blistering street. The thermometer crowding 90, and the humidity sticking to us like a steaming blanket.
I feel awful. Terrible day to sell them, really.
I want to go look through some newspaper files.
What for?
That picture on the piano.
Jack Olson's father?
Yeah. I've seen it someplace before. It's a news story connected with it.
Yeah, I'll drop you off. I got to get back to the precinct, see if the boys have found the safety deposit box that fits Fred Royal's key.
Nathan dropped me off at the newspaper, and I went down to the morgue to do some hunting. The air conditioning made the job easier, and by 4 o'clock I was headed for Nathan's office.
We found the bank and the safe deposit box.
Oh? Anything turn up?
Yeah. Royal was doing some pretty fancy blackmailing. Here's a bundle of evidence and a list of names.
Well, I can understand why someone would pay to keep these out of circulation.
Yeah. Lousy photography. What'd you find out?
Here.
Newspaper clipping. Oh, picture of Jack Olson's father.
Same as the one on the piano.
Prominent banker leaps to death. William Barrett. The boy's name is Olson.
That's what he calls himself.
William Barrett. Barrett. Give me that list we got out of the deposit box.
I've just been looking at it. William Barrett's name is on here, all right.
Ooh.
That article you've got on his suicide mentions that he left a son and a wife.
Yeah. Well, let's go pick up Jack Olson or Barrett or whatever his name is.
Well, it might not have meant a thing, but at least we had found one person who had a strong connection with Frederick Royal other than socially. The boy who called himself Jack Olson was the son of one William Barrett, deceased, and one of Fred Royal's blackmail victims. Barrett had jumped off a tall building, and according to the newspaper, he had left no reason for his actions. There was a possibility that Fred Royal's blackmail had driven him to it. And if that was so, his son would have had a very strong reason for wanting to break Mr. Fred Royal's neck. We climbed into a squad car and hurried back to Barbara Carroll's apartment, where Jack Olson lived as a boy.
Let's go.
Hey, wait a minute.
What's wrong?
Jack Olson, coming out of the building.
All right, we pick him up on the street.
He's hailing a cab. Now, let's see where he's going.
Wouldn't it be easier to just ask him?
Oh, stop trying to ruin my afternoon. You know, there's nothing more relaxing than a pleasant drive through quiet, peaceful old New England. We started tailing Jack Olson's cab across town.
Along the Merrick Parkway. Across a bridge.
He's headed for Long Island.
Well, your Connecticut badge won't be much good over there. We kept going across the Sound, past the outskirts of a couple of waterfront towns and onto a long highway.
Pretty expensive cab ride.
Pretty expensive. Pretty important.
Yeah. Well, they're turning off on that road.
Hope we don't lose them. We took the road to the right off the highway and spotted the cab up ahead, pulling into the entrance of a large white building. The sign over the tall iron gate read, Lakeview Sanitarium. We waited for him to go in.
Yes. Is there something I can do for you?
I'm looking for a man.
Oh, any particular man?
Oh, who's in charge of this place?
Dr. Feder.
Well, run him out, please. I want to talk to him.
Which one of you is the patient?
Patient?
Can't you tell?
Look, just go get Dr. Fodder.
Feder.
Oh, Feder, okay. Go get him and tell him Lieutenant Nathan wants to talk to him.
Lieutenant Nathan?
Of the cavalry.
Huh?
Oh, well, I'll get him right away.
Lieutenant.
You think that's funny, huh?
Oh, well, I liked it. Let's see what kind of a reaction he gets out of Dr. Feder.
Cavalry. Nice thing to say in a place like this.
Lieutenant Nathan?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm Dr. Feder.
Oh, this is Mr. Dollar.
How do you do?
How do you do? Now, are you related?
No, but we've been friends a long, long time, haven't we, Nate?
Yeah, I'm a police officer, Doctor.
Oh.
We've been following a man. He came in here a few minutes ago.
Is that right?
The lieutenant thinks he might be a killer.
I can handle this, Dollar. Mm-hmm. Doctor, I'm with Central Division Homicide. This isn't my territory, but I'd appreciate it.
Which one of you is the patient?
Now, look, this is getting a little ridiculous. Here are my credentials.
Oh.
The man we want came in here a few minutes ago.
Well, Mr. Barrett is the only one
His real name is Barrett.
Who's he seeing?
His mother.
What's wrong with his mother?
Mrs. Barrett is seriously ill.
Have anything to do with her husband's suicide?
Everything to do with it. I doubt if Mrs. Barrett will ever recover.
We went back out to the car and tried to put it all together. Jack's father had jumped off a roof. He was being blackmailed and couldn't take it. The shock of his suicide had driven Mrs. Barrett into a permanent breakdown, and Fred Royal had been responsible for the whole thing. Motive enough for Jack to get a job with Dale Martin so he could get his hands on Fred Royal's neck.
Cavalry.
Oh, stop groaning. Tell me what you think of my theory.
We still need a confession.
We'll get it.
Mind if I make a pest of myself and ask how?
Let's ride back to town and see Dale Martin.
You're going to come up and take a workout in a rough tomorrow, huh?
That's right, Martin. And I want you to make sure that Olson takes care of me.
Did he do it, Dollar?
I think so.
But why? He seems like such a nice kid.
He had a pretty good reason.
But we need a confession, and Dollar has an idea how to get it.
I want Olson working on me through the whole workout, especially when I get on the rubbing table.
You're in pretty good shape, Mr. Dollar.
Well, I'm carrying a few extra pounds.
I will knock that off of you in a hurry. Don't try to talk while you're using the pulleys.
Aye. Aye, Martin.
He's in pretty good shape, Mr. Martin.
Now, let's see. Better not do too much on the stomach the first day. I'll see you later, Mr. Dollar.
Nice fella, Martin.
Yeah, very nice. Tell me, have you found out anything about Mr. Royal's death?
Oh, police have got a few ideas. Lieutenant and I went up to see your roommate's sister.
Yeah, Barbara told me. I hope you don't suspect her. She kind of liked Mr. Royal. She wouldn't have any reason to kill him. All right. Let's go back to the rub tape before you cool off.
You don't mind going in there, do you?
No. Why should I?
Oh, some people are funny about rooms where there's been a dead person, you know?
It doesn't bother me, Mr. Dollar. Martin's got all his towels piled on the other table. I can move them if you like.
Oh, no, it doesn't make any difference. Royal wasn't killed in here anyway.
All right. On your back.
Yeah. Give me a good brisk rub and let me relax for about 10 minutes.
All right, slide down a little.
Yeah. What'd you do before you came to work for Martin, Jack?
Oh, not much. Went to school, finally decided to look for a job. Found this one.
You ever study this sort of thing?
No, there's really not much to it. Martin shows us how to use the machines, help the clients, and rub the neck and back.
Well, then all you need is a good build, a strong pair of hands, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Your family live in Hartford?
No.
I noticed a picture of your father on Barbara's piano. Fine-looking man.
He's dead now.
Oh, sorry.
So am I.
Your mother still living?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I rubbing too hard?
No, that's okay. Well, you certainly got the strength for the job.
Yeah, I'll turn off the vibrator and just use my hand. Did the police find out anything about Mr. Royal?
Yeah. He was a blackmailer.
Ow! I'm awfully sorry. I'm a little nervous. Maybe I better get one of the other fellows to finish your rub.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'm just a little tied up. The neck is stiff.
Try and relax.
Guess I keep thinking about Ryle and his broken leg.
You think I might break yours, Mr. Dow?
Well, wouldn't be hard. If I was good and relaxed, you could snap it in a second.
Yeah. Yes, I could. So Mr. Royal was a blackmailer, huh?
Yeah, had a record.
And foulest people on earth?
Yeah, they certainly are. Doing a lot of lives. Probably why he was murdered.
You think he was blackmailing someone here in the gym?
Oh, not necessarily.
Well, if he wasn't, then no one in the shop would have a motive for killing him.
Well, I've got a theory about that. I think someone in this gym hated him so much that they waited until no one was looking and Royal was all alone. And they slipped in on him and twisted his neck until it broke and he strangled.
Why would they hate him so much if he wasn't blackmailing him?
He might have been blackmailing someone very close and dear to the killer. Maybe the person Royal was blackmailing couldn't stand it. Committed suicide.
It's an interesting theory.
Take your family, for instance.
Ow! I'm sorry. You weren't relaxing.
Supposing Royal was blackmailing a member of your family. Your father, for instance.
I can't rub your neck unless you relax more.
Maybe your father couldn't take it. Maybe he couldn't pay him anymore. Instead of disgracing his family, he committed suicide.
Just turn your head a little to the side, Mr. Dow.
That better?
Much. If that happened to my family, Mr. Dow, I guess I would kill Mr. Royal. Wouldn't mind a bit.
How did your father die, Jack?
He jumped off a roof. Now, if you just turn your head a little more, I'll try to pop you vertically, huh?
We followed you out to Long Island yesterday, Jack.
I'm going to adjust your neck, Mr. Dow. It's better if you relax or you won't hurt.
Well, if you wanted to, you could pop it anyway. I couldn't stop you in time.
No, I don't guess you could. There, now the other side, huh?
Did you kill Fred Royal?
Yes. Relax. All right, Mr. Dollar. Let's go down to the police station.
Lieutenant's outside with Martin. After you, Mr. Barrett. Nathan took Jack Barrett down to the station and got from him a signed confession. I went with Martin. And with every drink, I saw another Barrett. So finally, I gave it up and came up here to my office. Expense account. Item 2, $4.53. 1/5 of very dry gin. Martin forgot his health and hygiene for a couple of hours and finished what I didn't drink. Item 3, $16.75. Cab fare for a ride up to the country. all by myself. Expense account total, $22.68. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Remember, friends, Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum refreshes you. Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum gives you real chewing enjoyment. The lively, full-bodied flavor of Wrigley's Spearmint cools your mouth, freshens your taste, sweetens your breath. The smooth, pleasant chewing of Wrigley's Spearmint helps keep you feeling relaxed and satisfied, makes whatever you're doing more enjoyable. Yes, for refreshment plus chewing enjoyment, treat yourself often to Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Millions enjoy it daily. Get a few packages and always keep some handy. That's Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum. Healthful, refreshing, delicious. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, brought to you by Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum, stars John Lund in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards with music by Milton Charles. Featured in tonight's cast were Edgar Barrier, Hy Averback, Hal March, Jim Nusser, Tony Barrett, and Virginia Gregg. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. The makers of Wrigley's Spearmint Chewing Gum hope you enjoyed tonight's story of Johnny Dollar and that you're enjoying delicious Wrigley's Spearmint Gum every day. This is Charles Lyon, inviting you to join us again next week at this same time when, from Hollywood, John Lund returns as... Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Welcome back. Well, I have to say, that was one of the tenser dramatic moments on the show, with Johnny Dollar taking his life into his hands and getting a massage from a masseuse who'd used his hands to kill. And this was pretty suspenseful when he's talking about, you know, if Johnny were to relax, then his neck could just be snapped by the masseuse. You know, pretty suspenseful, you know, and I put this probably in terms of really just suspenseful radio scene. Up there with that Nero Wolfe episode with the three-way gun standoff with Nero Wolfe, Archie Goodwin, and the villain. You know, something that never would have happened in the book. But it was pretty exciting. And this was, too. The only thing is, after the show, I kind of got to thinking about it. And I was like, okay, well, the question is, why was Johnny putting himself in this position? Because it would have been understandable. You know, last week's case, the San Antonio matter, it was a very emotional, sort of gut-wrenching case for Johnny Dollar. But here I'm kind of like, you know, he gambled that the police would come to the rescue if this guy tried to kill him before the killer actually succeeded. And I'm kind of wondering, you know, I'm kind of left wondering why it was not in particular in his line of work. And I would, you know, and this would be the type of thing you would kind of, you know, to me anyway, it would seem it'd be the type of thing you would only try if you were absolutely desperate. And you were like, all right, well, we're going to get a confession one way or another. But instead, he just kind of risked his life for it. So I kind of had mixed feelings on that. Again, we continue to see the more dragnet, sort of procedural type episodes of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. All right, well, we'll turn to listener comments and feedback. And I've been writing, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but I do continue to write a series of articles over at greatdetectives.net, usually 2, sometimes just 1, depending on how busy the week is. Article, book review about Golden Age entertainment, mysteries, detective programs, old-time radio, kind of, it's all related to those sort of themes, though it can, the area we're writing about can kind of vary quite a bit. And I did a series called, I think as this is airing, we should be wrapping up the series, Sleuths of My Youth. And one that I wrote about was the Hardy Boys. And these are the detective programs and books that got me interested in detectives in the first place. Cheryl comments, could you play more Nancy Drews and Hardy Boys? Please. Love the podcast. Well, thanks a lot, Cheryl. In answer to your question, there was only one Nancy Drew movie that's entered the public domain through not being renewed, and we played that. Beyond that, there were not a whole lot of adaptations of Nancy Drew at that point, and certainly none of them going to radio. Certainly television has included a lot of different adaptations. There was the 1950s Disney version over television with the Hardy Boys, which was a several-part serial. I believe it was shown in conjunction with the Mickey Mouse Club. And then you had the 1970s series, and then there was a 1990s series of Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. Really, I think probably in the 1950s, it was just another series out there. And it never caught on in terms of getting its own radio program. And I think that it would have been interesting had it occurred. I think as we're standing here, 2012, looking at Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, the Hardy Boys about 85 years strong, and Nancy Drew going about 80 years strong. They're some of the most enduring characters in detective fiction. It's something that's been passed down and continued from generation to generation. I would love to see more of this stuff done on audio. Colonial Radio Theater is taking advantage of the fact that the first Tom Swift stories are not under copyright, the Tom Swift Senior stories, and they are actually doing a production of those first Tom Swift Senior stories as a radio play. I'd love to see something like that with the Hardy Boys. The first Hardy Boys book isn't due to come out of copyright until the early 2020s. So maybe then someone will pick it up, or maybe even before that, because Hardys, I think, have got a ton of fans out there of all ages. And the same thing goes for Nancy Drew. All right, well, that will do it for today's show. Join us back here on Monday for Barrie Craig Confidential Investigator. Tuesday, we begin our look at Poirot over Old Time Radio. And then join us back here on Friday for yours truly, Johnny Dollar. But from Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.